Hello friends. This is Fiction Quest. How are you all? So in this video, we will see, what if Naruto joins Luffy on his adventure to become the Pirate King and got Harem? But before we start, if you want more amazing stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also, if possible, share this video with your friends. Now without wasting any more time, let's begin the story. The Grand Line. To some people paradise, to others a nightmare. Before the golden age of piracy, only the bravest dared to enter the Grand Line. However, due to the death of Gold D. Rogers, more and more amateur pirates have entered the treacherous sea in hopes of finding the greatest treasure known to man, the One Piece. The treasure left behind by the Pirate King. 22 years after the execution of Gold D. Roger, in the small Fusha village in the East Blue, many of the villagers were gathered around the port, waving to two people in a fisherman's boat. The eldest of the two was standing proudly waving back to the people, while the younger one was sitting down leaning against the boat with a confident grin plastered on his face. The eldest one turned to look at the younger boy. "Come on, Naruto. Don't you want to say goodbye to everyone?" the young man asked. The man was dressed in a sleeveless red vest, short blue trousers and a straw hat resting peacefully on his head. He had messy raven locks and scar under his left eye and a wide grin. The young boy, now known as Naruto, looked up at the man. "Because this won't be the last time they see us, Luffy. We're gonna be in plenty of newspapers soon," Naruto replied calmly. He wore fingerless opera-length black gloves with red-brown studded leather straps, baggy black pants that a pouch on the back pocket and a kunai holder on the left thigh, red-brown sandals and a baggy dark red shirt. He had untamed, blonde spiky hair, sky-blue eyes and 6 whisker marks, 3 on each cheek, giving him a feral-like appearance. "Guess you're right. Shishi," Luffy chuckled while he continued waving back to the villagers. "Goodbye, Luffy and Naruto," shouted a woman with green hair pulled back into a hairband, leaving the bangs in an apron. "See ya, Makino," Luffy replied back. "Don't go up causing trouble. You're already bringing shame to the village," advised an elderly man with a simple yellow-collared shirt, khaki shorts and a fisherman's hat. He had a mustache and beard. "Baka, wood slap," Naruto muttered silently. "What did you say, brat?" Wood slap shouted. "That you're a baka," Naruto shouted back. He turned to face Luffy, leaving a fuming wood slap behind them. "You ready to get going?" "Yep," Luffy answered with his grin still on his face. He was about to go to the oars when he noticed a shadow overcoming the boat. Luffy turned around to see the Lord of the Coast looming over them. Naruto looked over it lazily and then looked at Luffy. "You got this?" Naruto asked. Luffy smirked. "Do you have to ask?" Luffy answered with a rhetorical question. He then looked up at the Sea King. "You were the one that took Shanks' arm," he declared. As the mighty Sea King launched forward, Luffy pulled his arm back. Gomu no. Just before the Lord of the Coast made contact with the boat, Luffy launched his fist forward and connected hard with the Sea King's face. Pistol. With that punch, the Sea King was sent a good 20 meters away. The villagers cheered as Luffy managed to defeat a deadly Sea King with single punch. Somewhere in the East Blue, a large cruise ship was making its way throughout the East Blue. It currently held a large party with some of the richest people in the East Blue attending. The sailors weren't allowed inside the ballroom, but that didn't stop them from having a few drinks outside. One of the sailors that was currently in the crow's nest was looking out for pirates or anything unusual. As he was looking around, he noticed a barrel floating towards the ship. "Oi! Get that barrel out of the water. Hopefully there's something of value inside," the sailor told the other crew members down below. Doing as they were told, they heaved the barrel out of the water and placed it on the ship. Bloody hell, what's inside this thing? It weighs a lot," one of the sailors carrying it said. "Carry that to the sailor started to say when he saw something in the corner of his eye. He turned to it and gaped at it when he saw it. It was a large pink ship, with 4 sails, one of them higher up than the other 3. On each of the sails was a heart and the figurehead was a duck with hearts replacing the eyes. But the thing that scared him was the flag that was on the mainmast. It was the flag of the Alvida pirates. "Pirates!" the sailor shouted. The ship was immediately in a frenzy of panic. The crew members were desperately trying to calm down the passengers, but their efforts were in vain. Alvida pirates ship. All of the pirates were lined up on the deck of the ship, with an extremely obese woman staring them down. "Okay boys. This is a good haul I'm expecting, so don't let me down, especially you Koby. She shouted at the crew, at the end eyeballing a scrawny-looking kid with pink hair, glasses and looked completely out of place. It's looting time. And with that the raid began. The pirates were either jumping or zip-lining across the gap. While all of the others were out doing all of this, Koby was trying to hide from all of the chaos. In truth, he didn't even want to be there. He wanted to be a marine, but in a mix-up he became the chore boy for a horrible and extremely overweight pirate. He was looking around for something to take that wouldn't be risky. A barrel rolled past him, and that's when he got the idea. He would take the barrel and then put it with the rest of the barrels of rum in the food and drinks storage in the ship and hide out there for the rest of the raid. Koby walked over to the barrel and attempted to lift it up, but couldn't even manage to pick it off the ground. What type of barrel of rum weighs this much? Koby silently asked himself. As he knew that he couldn't lift it up, he settled for rolling it. Just before he got there, 3 other members of the crew stopped him. "Whatcha got there, Koby?" the more muscular one in the group asked. Just a barrel of rum. I was going to take tea to where we keep the drinks," Koby replied nervously and quietly. "That's quite a big barrel of rum. I don't suppose you were going to keep it for yourself, Koby?" The other members took this as a silent hint and started to make their way to the barrel slowly. Koby picked up on this. "Are you sure you want to do tea this? What if Alvida finds out?" Koby advised them. "Oh, we know what she'll do. That's why she's never gonna find out. Isn't that right, Koby?" He eyeballed Koby, his hand on his sword. Koby nodded quickly. "Now let's get this bad boy open." He raised his sword into the air and just before the sword was able to smash open the barrel. "What a great nap!" Luffy shouted as he smashed his way out of the barrel, knocking out the pirate in the process. Luffy looked at his surroundings. He shouldn't sleep on the floor, he could catch a cold. "You were the one that did it," everyone shouted at Luffy. "I did? She. Luffy laughed at himself. "Don't think you're gonna get away with this," one of the pirates shouted. They started to advance onto Luffy. "Ah! Run!" Koby screamed in panic. He closed his eyes so that he didn't have to see what happened to the man. He opened his eyes after a while to see a sight that he certainly didn't expect. Both men had been taken down by the straw hat wearing man who was standing casually as if nothing happened. "Geez, what are these guys' problems?" Luffy asked to seemingly no one. He looked around to see if there was anyone else. "Oi, Pinky, is there any food around here?" "Why yay, there's some in the food storage," Koby answered, too scared to tell him off about what he called him. "Cool. Let's go," Luffy shouted. They walked to the food storage. Luffy literally jumped at the crates of food. I wonder how much meat they have," he wondered to himself as he started to drool. He was slightly disappointed when it turned out that it was just apples. My name's Koby. What's yours?" Koby asked nervously. "The name's Luffy, future king of the pirates," Luffy introduced himself. "King of the pirates," Koby repeated. "Yep, that's my dream. I am possible. The king of the pirates controls the sea. He's the strongest pirate there is. They have to defeat every other pirate on the seas. They have to traverse through the Grand Line. You'll die." He was interrupted by a hit across the back of the head from Luffy. "Ow. Why did you do that for?" "'Cause you were annoying me. Look, it's my dream. I promised a very important person that I would make my dream come true, and if I die, then I die. It's alright if I die trying to achieve my dream," Luffy explained while twirling his hat on his finger. "You have a dream, right?" "Why yay. I want to be a marine. I want to arrest bad pirates like Alvida," Koby confessed. Then there was a crack in the floorboards above them, and then Alvida came falling down, creating a large cloud of dust doing so. "Koby!" she screamed. Why yes, Alvida-sama," Koby addressed, hoping that she didn't hear what he said. "Who are you going to arrest exactly?" Alvida asked. Well, IW was just," Koby stuttered. "Koby!" Alvida shouted, causing Koby to stop immediately. "Who is the most beautiful woman in all of the seas?" Well, that W would," Koby started, but then he remembered the talk that he had with Luffy about following their dreams. "Definitely not be you. You fat whale." She. "Good one, Koby." Luffy congratulated. "How dare you," Alvida screamed as she brought her iron mace down on his head. "Well, at least I was honest at the end," Koby thought to himself as he was preparing for death. What he didn't expect was to hear a thud before it connecting with his head. He looked up to see Luffy's head in between him and the mace. "Sorry, but that won't work on me," Luffy told Alvida. What? Alvida couldn't believe that someone could be on the receiving end of one of her attacks and I'm a rubber man, Luffy proclaimed. He grabbed Koby and jumped out of the way of Alvida. "Come on, Koby." He leapt onto the deck through the hole that Alvida created while holding onto Koby. When Luffy landed on the deck, he thought that he would have to fight all of Alvida's men. But instead he saw all of the crew members bloody and beaten, some of them dead. He also saw a familiar face sitting on top of a pile of bodies. "Naruto." Luffy greeted his friend. Naruto opened one eye lazily. "About time, Luffy. Do you know how hard it was to try and find you after you went through that whirlpool? And then when I got here I had to deal with the cannon fodder," Naruto explained. Flashback. "Wow. I never thought that our adventure would end so quickly," Luffy exclaimed when he saw the giant whirlpool that was in their way. "You can be such a baka sometimes, Luffy," Naruto pointed out as he looked around for something to help them get out of this mess. "Luffy, get inside that barrel there." "Good idea," Luffy shouted as he jumped into the barrel. "Wait, what are you going to do? There's only one barrel." "I'll figure it out." And with that, Naruto jumped off the boat and onto the water. Not into the water. He was standing on top of the water. Shit. I forgot to take into account how rapid the waters would be around a whirlpool, Naruto said to himself as he saw Luffy get sucked into the spiraling vortex. A light bulb went off in his head. Naruto started concentrating more of his chakra to the soles of his feet, making him able to stick to the water easier. Naruto started running across the sea, with a lot of difficulty. Once he got out of the clutches of the whirlpool, he was met with the next problem, locating Luffy. Naruto sat down on the water in a meditative position, searching for Luffy's chakra signature. Damn, that whirlpool sent Luffy far. Naruto exclaimed to himself. The whirlpool sent his captain around 2.5 miles away. Better start running. Knowing Luffy, he probably already caused trouble. Naruto sighed to himself. 10 minutes later. What an ugly ship, Naruto told himself as he looked at the ship in front of him with a terrible figurehead. He could see a larger cruise ship next to it with the pirates raiding it. Naruto started to walk up the ship. When he got to the deck, he had to deal with the grunts. "Oi, what do y'all think you're doing here?" one of the lowly grunts questioned as he started walking up to Naruto. "I'm looking for a friend. He's got a straw hat and a scar under his left eye," Naruto described Luffy. "Look, kid, just cause you're weak doesn't mean I ain't gonna kill ya," the grunt said when he got right in Naruto's face. "Funny, that's what I'm thinking as well," Naruto said with a grin on his face. Wah! He couldn't finish what he wanted to say before Naruto decapitated him with his kunai. The other pirates roared as they ran at the kid who killed one of their crew members. Naruto calmly walked over to them, keeping his grin on the whole time. Naruto weaved around all of their strikes, while he was gracefully punching, stabbing and slicing them while taking no hits from any of them. Within minutes all of them were on the ground bleeding, in pain. "Geez, I knew that you were weak, but with your numbers I thought you would have been tougher." Flashback end. "I'm gonna get you, you bastard." They heard the screams of Alvida as she came up to the deck. She was horrified by the sight that she saw. "Straw Hat, I'm gonna kill you." "I don't think so," Luffy told her as he pulled back his fist across the whole deck. "Gomu Gomu no." He launched his fist right into Alvida's torso, sending her flying off the ship and into the sky. Pistol. "Good job, Luffy. Now all you have to deal with is the 3 marine ships," Naruto pointed out. Koby looked around and saw that there were indeed 3 marine ships advancing on them. "Ah, we gotta go," exclaimed Koby. "No shit," Naruto said blankly. He spotted a small boat near the cruise ship with an orange-haired girl in it, sailing away. "I think I got us a ride." Naruto ran up the edge of the deck and leapt towards the boat. Luffy followed suit by launching himself with a Gomu Gomu no rocket while holding Koby. They rocked the boat significantly due to their sudden landing, shocking the girl. "Ah! What are you doing?" she exclaimed. She sported an orange mini skirt with 2 white rings on each side and a short-sleeved top with blue and white lines. She had orange hair and brown eyes. "Sorry, but do you think you give us a trip to the nearest island?" Naruto asked politely. "What? No, get off my boat," the girl refused. "Please. Luffy asked again. No. The girl yet again refused. Pretty please, Luffy pleaded. No, the girl started. We have money. Naruto pointed out. Well, of course you can come with me. Her personality took a 180-degree turn, creeping Naruto out in the process. Several hours later the group was sailing peacefully through calm waters, escaping the Marines just hours before. During this time they had learnt that the girl's name is Nami. Nami. Where are we going? Luffy asked. We're going to Shell's town where you'll also be giving me my money, she answered, while looking at Naruto for the last part. Yay, I haven't forgotten. Naruto told her. Nami looked back at the young boy, lazily leaning against the side of the boat with his eyes closed. What's a kid like you doing on the seas like this? Nami asked Naruto. Naruto was about to answer but Luffy got to it first. We're pirates. I'm the captain and he's my first mate. And Koby's gonna be a marine when we drop him off at a marine base. Luffy explained happily. The atmosphere of the boat became intense the second he finished speaking. You're pirates? Nami asked for confirmation. Yep. Luffy replied with his grin on his face. How could you? Nami shouted at his face. How could be a pirate? You steal and murder people's family and friends. She yelled with anger. Naruto opened an eye to look at her. You lost a precious person to pirates, didn't you? Naruto stated, looking at Nami in a bored manner. Why would you think that? Nami asked, not liking the fact that some kid was able to figure out that much about her in only a few hours. Because your outburst revealed a lot of angry emotion. You must experienced some form of trauma due to pirates when you were younger, so you come to an unjustifiable judgment to every pirate you see. Naruto explained. Unjustifiable. Pirates killed my mother. It's perfectly justifiable to hate pirates. Nami yelled at Naruto, outraged that he would think that it's unjustifiable. So pirates did take a precious person from you, Naruto said, confirming his suspicions. Nami immediately covered her mouth, and it's unjustifiable because you can't judge everything based on one experience. That's like saying that you found a worm in an apple, so think that every apple has a worm in it. Have you ever lost anyone? Nami questioned. No, Naruto answered. So you don't know how it feels? Nami told him. Because I never had anyone to lose. Naruto told her. Everyone stopped talking after that. Nami even felt a little sad that she yelled at him like that. They spent the remainder of the trip in silence. 2 hours later, Shell's town. Thanks for the ride. Thanked Naruto as he handed Nami 100 belly. Nami took the money and walked off. She was going to haggle with him about only giving her 100 belly. But after their talk she was less inclined to bargain with him. I'm starving. Let's go grab something to eat, Luffy exclaimed to the crew. They went to a cafe to talk about their plans for what they were going to do. Well, this is it. Thanks for taking care of me, guys. Even if it was only for a short time. Koby expressed his gratitude towards them. It's all right, Koby. Luffy told him in between bites. While the Luffy and Koby were talking and eating, Naruto had finished his meal and was thinking. All of the civilians in town seemed uneasy. There was something about them, they were fearful of something. But what was it? Koby, Naruto said, getting attention towards him. What do you know about the marine base here? Well, I know that the captain is Captain Morgan. When he said that, everybody in the cafe jumped slightly. That's weird. Why would they jump when they hear the name of a captain? So I was right. If the people are afraid of the captain, then the captain must be enforcing some law around. Or maybe he's a follower of the absolute justice system. No, this island wouldn't need it, especially not in the East Blue. He's probably passing around an extreme tax. It's not unheard of. Naruto concluded. Naruto put his money down on the table. I'm gonna go look at the marine base. Koby, you wanna come? Naruto asked. Sure. With that, he and Koby started walking down to the marine base, leaving Luffy to finish his meal. As they were walking, they started to have a conversation. So Koby, why do you want to become a marine? Naruto asked. Because I want to arrest bad guys and help innocents, Koby explained. When you were younger you were taught that marines are the good guys and pirates are the bad guys, right? Naruto asked. Yay. Koby replied, not sure where it was going. Koby, it's not that simple, Naruto sighed. Seeing the confusion in Koby's eyes, Naruto elaborated, while there are some good marines whose intentions are good, and while majority of pirates are the bad, sleazy people that people make them out to be. There are also bad Marines and good pirates. Bad Marines are the Marines that don't discriminate between the civilians and the pirate. Bad Marines would destroy an entire town just to get one person. Koby, remember this. When you join the Marines you'll be starting from the bottom, a chore boy. When you come up in the rankings make sure that you don't lose sight of your morals. Koby thought about what he said for a moment. Thanks Naruto, I'll remember that. The duo continued their way towards the Marine base. The Marine base had a tall wall around the perimeter to keep invaders out. When I go through those doors I will start journey to accomplish my dream, thanks for all that you've done for me, Koby said as he started to make his way to the entrance. Koby, who's that? Naruto said as he sat on the wall looking inside. Naruto. You shouldn't do that, you could get in trouble, Koby informed Naruto. I can take them, scoffed Naruto. Anyway, tell me who this guy is. Koby joined Naruto on the wall. They saw a lone man in a courtyard, tied to a post. The man wore black trousers that were tucked into his boots, a dirty white shirt and a green harmaki. He had green hair, 3 identical gold earrings on his left ear and on his head was a black bandana that shadowed his eyes, making him look very intimidating. That black bandana, it's the pirate hunter Zoro, Koby exclaimed. Naruto raised his eyebrow, he hadn't heard of him before. He's a very well-known bounty hunter in the East Blue. He's known as the Demon of the East Blue. A demon Naruto muttered to himself. Hey guys. What did I miss? Luffy asked them as he joined them on the wall. Nothing much, just found out that the Marines have captured the so-called Demon of the East Blue, Naruto informed. Is he strong? Luffy asked. Of course he is, Koby confirmed. I've decided, he's going to be our new crew member, Luffy said with conviction. Naruto smirked at the decision. Koby gawked at him. Luffy. He's a pirate hunter. He'll kill. Koby started listing off reasons why he shouldn't ask him to join. Shish. They were silenced by a little girl who had silently placed a ladder against the wall. She climbed over the wall and ran to Zoro. Hey, what's that girl doing? Zoro could hurt her, Koby said to himself. The girl went up to Zoro and presented him with some rice balls. I made some rice balls for you, the girl told Zoro. I don't want your rice balls, hurry up and get out of here. If the Marines catch you helping me you'll be in trouble, Zoro told the little girl. But what's this? A little girl shouldn't be snooping around in a Marine base, proclaimed the new arrival. There were 2 Marine officers walking behind a boy who was wearing a violet-colored uniform with white shoes. He walked in an arrogant manner. Oh. Some rice balls, thank you. The man snatched the rice balls. Hey, give them back, the girl demanded. The arrogant boy took a bite out of one, and immediately spat it out and stomped on them. Gah! What is this? You seasoned it with sugar, you're meant to season it with salt, the boy complained. But I like sweet foods so I thought, the girl whimpered. Officers, throw this girl out, the man commanded. Both looked at each other. But sir, she's just a child, one of the officers told him. The man got in the officer's face. Did you just disobey me? Do you want me to get my daddy on me? The man asked. The officer went extremely pale. He walked over to the girl and threw her over to Luffy and his crew. Before she hit the ground Naruto jumped and caught her. Are you okay? He asked. Yay, she answered, disappointed that she wasn't able to give Zoro the food she prepared. What's your name? Naruto asked. Rika, she replied. Okay Rika, you should go back to your family, I'm sure they're worried, Naruto told her. Koby, go with her and make sure she gets home safely. Koby nodded and went with Rika to her family. Naruto turned around to see that Luffy wasn't on the wall and was instead talking to Zoro. Join my crew. Luffy requested simply. Crew? Zoro pondered, that must mean you're a pirate. Yes I am, Luffy revealed. If I untie those ropes you'll have to join me. I'd rather die than become a pirate, I'm going to survive the rest of the month, Zoro declared. Okay. Luffy started walking away. Wait, Luffy stopped and looked at Zoro. Can you feed those rice balls to me? He asked, feeling incredibly uncomfortable asking such a question. Are you sure? They're ruined. Luffy questioned. Yes I'm sure, Zoro told him. Luffy fed Zoro the squashed and dirty rice balls, making Zoro almost tear up due to the sweetness of the dish. Tell the girl it was the best thing I've ever had. Cafe, and he said it was the best thing he ever tasted. Luffy told the events to Rika and the rest of the crew. Really? Rika questioned. Yep, Luffy replied cheerfully. Zoro seems a lot nicer than the rumors make him out to be. He doesn't seem evil at all. Koby pointed out. He's not evil. Rika defended. The whole reason he's tied to that post is because of me. How so? Naruto asked. He defended me in the town from Helmeppo's mean dog. Zoro isn't a bad person. Captain Morgan is the real menace. Rika explained. Wait, who's Helmeppo? Naruto asked. He was the mean one with the weird hairstyle. Rika described Helmeppo. Naruto nodded. It was at this time that Helmeppo walked into the cafe. Get me everything on the menu, he commanded as he sat down in a booth, planting a foot up on the table. You know what? I'm gonna execute Zoro in 3 days. I'm surprised he's even managed to survive this long. What did you say? Luffy yelled, marching up to Helmeppo, intimidating him and the marine officers around him. Nothing. Helmeppo lied. Luffy, outraged by Helmeppo, punched him square in the face, shocking everyone in the cafe. Naruto, Koby. We're going. Luffy told them. They nodded and started to leave, as soon as we've finished eating. He adds at the end. Naruto sighed and sat back down. Why you better apologize. I'll get my father on you, Helmeppo threatened while holding his bloody nose and crying. Hurry and up and do it then, Naruto said simply in between slurps of his ramen. When you make a threat you better go through with it. Helmeppo rushed out of the cafe angrily with the marine officers following him. And now we have tea to deal with the captain. Koby told the group. He was obviously scared. Koby, you remember what I told you about bad marines? Naruto asked. Koby nodded. Well, Captain Morgan is one of those marines, and as a future good marine you have to take care of him. Marine base. Daddy. Helmeppo screamed as he stormed into his father's quarters. Someone hit me. After a moment of silence Morgan spoke. Son, do you know why I've never hit you? Morgan asked. Because I'm your son. Helmeppo replied, to which Morgan punched him across the face. No. Because you're not worth hitting, Morgan shouted. He wore a large, billowing coat and baggy blue pants. He had a metal jaw and the most identifiable thing about him was the huge steel axe replacing his right hand. Now, I heard that there was an incident earlier this morning regarding a little girl breaking into the compound. Yes, I took care of her. Helmeppo told his father, hoping to get some praise. So you killed her? Morgan assumed. And no, I couldn't order tea that. She's just a little girl. Helmeppo told his father, to which he punched him again. Baka. Just because she's a child doesn't mean she shouldn't die. Morgan told his son. The most important thing in this world is rank. This girl was defying rank, therefore she must accept the consequences. Now I have to get to the statue, he said as he left his son. Courtyard. What do you want? Zoro asked threateningly, looking at Luffy and Naruto. Join my crew. Luffy told him again. I already told why. Helmeppo's gonna execute you in 3 days, Naruto said, getting right to the point. What? I should have known he would do something like this. That spoiled brat. Zoro cursed the arrogant bastard. I'm gonna get you out of here, Luffy said as he started to untie him. If I had my swords I could get out of here in seconds, Zoro said. This gave Luffy an idea. Okay, I'm gonna go get your swords, so you'll have to join me if you want them. Luffy told Zoro, to which he gaped at Luffy. Naruto, let's go. Luffy shouted as he threw his arms up to the top of the marine base. Gomu Gomu no rocket. He yelled as he launched himself up to the top. However, he overshot his launch and accidentally smashed into the statue of Captain Morgan, breaking it in half. He turned around to see a group of marines and Morgan. Sorry. Luffy apologized while keeping his grin. How dare you? Morgan shouted. Men, kill him, now. All of the marines charged at Luffy with guns and swords pointed at him. Luffy, however, ignored them and went up to Helmeppo. Oi, where are Zoro's swords? Luffy demanded. In my room. Helmeppo told Luffy. Luffy grabbed Helmeppo and dragged him into the base. With Naruto, Luffy's probably already caused a commotion with the marines. I swear to God he knows nothing about stealth, Naruto thought to himself as he walked through the base, Looking for the cafeteria where the officers would be eating lunch, he'll be able to find Zoro's swords by himself. I'm gonna go have some fun. He went into the cafeteria and true to his thoughts there was an entire hall full of Marines, with guns and swords. I hope you guys are tougher than the Alvida pirates, Naruto told them as he rushed them. With Luffy. Which room is it? Luffy shouted at Helmeppo. You just passed it. Helmeppo said weakly. Why didn't you say so before? Luffy yelled angrily. He ran back to the room they passed. They entered Helmeppo's room. It was painted pink as was most of the furniture. In the corner of the room were 3 swords, I found them. With Zoro, Koby, who had caught up later, was untying Zoro from the post when he was shot by a Marine officer led by Captain Morgan. Ah! Koby screamed in pain as he clutched his arm. Kid! Hurry up and get out of here! Zoro shouted at Koby. Koby, however, got up and started to untie him again. I can't run away, he yelled at Zoro. Luffy and Naruto wouldn't run away. I want to be a Marine. If I can't do this, I'm not worthy. Men! Fire! Captain Morgan commanded his officers. All of the officers with guns lined up in front of him and fired. Koby and Zoro closed their eyes, neither of them wanting it to end this way. They were both surprised when the bullets they were expecting didn't reach them. Then they realized that it was Luffy that was standing in front of them, guarding them. Straw Hat! Zoro shouted, unaware that he was all right. Sorry, that doesn't work on me, Luffy yelled as he bounced the bullets back at the Marines, injuring a few of them. He then turned to Zoro, showing him the swords that he had strapped to his waist. So Zoro, are you gonna join now? I'm already an enemy of the Marines, so why not? Zoro said with a smirk on his face. Great! Luffy cheered happily. Now untie me, Zoro told his now captain. Luffy got right to it. Unfortunately he was having some difficulty untying it. I think I just made it tighter, Luffy said to himself as the Marines started advancing on them. Seeing this, Zoro decided to take action. Quick! Just give me one of my swords, Zoro commanded. Luffy gave on his swords. Just in time too, as Zoro was able to cut himself off the post, take his swords off Luffy's waist and block all of the incoming attacks just before they could touch Luffy. Thanks Zoro. Luffy thanked Zoro. Luffy, I am part of your crew, Zoro reaffirmed. However, I will become the world's greatest swordsman and if you get in the way of my dream I will kill you. Of course. The king of pirates has to have a strong crew, if he doesn't it's just embarrassing. Luffy replied cheerfully. Zoro you better duck. Luffy warned as he swung his leg back. Zoro took heed of his warnings and ducked. Gomu Gomu no Muchi. Luffy shouted as he swung his outstretched leg around him to whip all of the Marines to the ground. How dare you? Captain Morgan yelled, confronting Luffy. The most important thing in the world is rank. Yet you are here, disobeying rank. You must pay. Morgan brought his axe down on Luffy, who easily sidestepped the blow. The fight continued on like this, it was very one-sided. Luffy kept on hitting Morgan without taking a blow himself. Stop! Helmeppo shouted, regaining the attention. He had a gun pointed against Koby's temple. You make one more move and Four Eyes gets it, he threatened. Luffy looked at this impassively, he pulled his arm back and launched it right into his face. Gomu Gomu no pistol. Luffy shouted as sent Helmeppo through the air, knocking him out at the same time. While he was doing this Morgan raised his axe hand into the air, preparing to bring it down on Luffy's head. Zoro was prepared to act, until someone beat him to it. The axe shattered into pieces and many cuts appeared leading from his wrist up to his left eye. Following up from the cuts, Naruto appeared in the air above Morgan. Akuma Dorapukira. 2. Naruto shouted as he landed a devastating dropkick to Morgan's head, knocking him out cold. Naruto landed on the ground, next to the unconscious Morgan. Good one Naruto. Luffy congratulated Naruto. Naruto grinned. Where were you? Zoro asked. In the cafeteria beating up some Marines, Naruto replied. Come on let's get some food. Luffy cheered as he rushed to the cafe with Zoro slung over his shoulder as he had collapsed from exhaustion and Naruto carrying Koby as he was injured by the gunshot. Cafe everybody was celebrating the return of the crew. They were free from the tyranny of Captain Morgan and by a pair of pirates nonetheless. As thanks they were given a free feast in honor of their victor. This is delicious. Luffy exclaimed as he dug into the food set before him. That's some good grog, Zoro yelled as he finished his meal. How can you eat more than me, when I haven't eaten anything for 9 days? I've stopped asking myself that, Naruto told him as he slurped on his ramen. Thanks for patching me up. Koby thanked Rika's mother, to which she just smiled as she gave them some more food. The party stopped as the door opened, to reveal the remaining Marines from the base. Are you 3 the pirates that took down Captain Morgan? The Marine officer asked. Yes. Luffy answered. I'm sorry, but as Marine officers we must ask to leave the island. At this all of the villagers in the cafe were in outrage. How could you? They are our saviors, one of them shouted. However, we will not be reporting back to Marine headquarters, the officer told them. Luffy got up and started leaving, followed by Zoro and then Naruto. But Koby stayed behind. The Marine officer raised an eyebrow. Isn't he with you? Luffy looked back at him. Oh, him. He's just someone we picked up along the way, Luffy started explaining, Koby silently praying that he wouldn't mention his time with Alvida. I found him when he was working as a cabin boy for Al. Shut up. Koby shouted before he socked Luffy in the jaw, leading to a small scuffle between the two. I get it. You two aren't together, the officer told the two as he broke up the fight, then looked at Koby. If you aren't with them, what are you here for? I want to be a Marine, he yelled at the officer. Are you sure we should accept him, Lieutenant? Pirates have been known to plant spies within Marine bases. An officer next to the lieutenant advised. No, I believe that this boy is speaking the truth. I see it in his eyes, the lieutenant replied. You will start as a cabin boy, but if you are up to it you will rise through the ranks. Are you prepared? Of course, Koby answered. The lieutenant smiled at the young boy's potential. Docs, your acting sucks, Zoro told Luffy with a smile on his face. As long as Koby becomes a Marine I'm fine with it, Luffy explained. They were all ready to sail off, and they were just about to when Koby and the rest of the Marines at the docks stopped them. Thank you for everything. I promise that I will become a good, strong Marine, Koby yelled at them as he gave them a salute. The rest of the Marines did so as well. Naruto smirked. I never would have thought I'd see Marines saluting pirates, Naruto said. Luffy grinned widely. Thanks everyone, he cheered as he spread the sails and started to drift away. Men, for saluting pirates we will not eat for 3 days, the lieutenant told his men. Do you think you can handle it? He asked Koby. Yes sir, he answered with conviction. Good, the lieutenant replied. The Straw Hat crew was, in the simplest of terms, lost. Shortly after their departure from Shellstown their food supply had gone, courtesy of their Straw Hat wearing captain. Unfortunately, none of them had any navigational skills, so getting to the next island would be harder than expected. They were lost and hungry, not a good combination. I'm so hungry, Luffy complained, laying down gazing up at the sky. That wouldn't be a problem if you hadn't eaten all of our food, Zoro yelled at Luffy, smacking him over the back of the head. Naruto was in his normal position, leaning against the side of the boat, trying to ignore his stomach growling at him. Look at that bird. Luffy pointed at a pink bird flying in the sky above them. A light bulb went off in Luffy's head. I think I found something to eat. He stood up, grabbed the mast and starting walking back. Gomu Gomu no. He then launched himself off of the boat and headed straight at the bird. Rocket. Both Naruto and Zoro were happy that Luffy had found something to eat. However, it was taking Luffy longer than they thought it would to get back down. Luffy. Hurry up and get down here, Naruto shouted up at Luffy, hoping that he could hear him. The bird's bigger than I thought, Luffy yelled back. After Naruto took a closer look he could see that the bird had Luffy in its mouth and started to fly away. Shit. Zoro start rowing. Zoro immediately got to work, rowing as fast as he could to keep up with the bird, with Naruto keeping an eye on it. Help! Help! They heard some pirates attempting to keep afloat in front of them. I can't stop. You guys are gonna have to try and jump on, Zoro told them as he kept on rowing. The pirates paled at this. The boat was coming at them at a very fast speed. They were barely able to grab a hold of the boat before it crashed into them. Now, that's out of the way, one of the pirates started to speak. If you try and steal our boat I will rip out your throat and shove it up your ass, Naruto told them, already knowing what they would try and do. This scared them sufficiently. Turns out they didn't have very strong wills. Now get to work rowing. Naruto had intimidated them enough to get them to switch with Zoro to row. I'm gonna get revenge on that girl that tricked us, one of the pirates told to the rest of the pirates. Stuff that. Think about what Captain Buggy will do to us if we come back empty-handed. All three of the pirates shuddered as they thought of what their captain would do to them. Zoro raised an eyebrow. Who's Buggy? Zoro asked them, to which they snorted. How do you not know the infamous Captain Buggy? Stop being a smartass and answer the question, Naruto told them. I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person that goes through with their threats. The pirates gulped. Captain Buggy is one of the top dogs of the East Blue with a bounty of 15 million belly. The pirates explained. Interesting, I get to see what the top dogs of this sea is worth in a fight. Naruto thought to himself, eagerly waiting to fight this Captain Buggy. With Luffy. Wow. You really can see a lot from up here, Luffy exclaimed, still being carried by the bird. Land. Luffy could finally see land. He started struggling to get out of the bird's grasp. On the ground, there was a pirate ship docked near the town. The pirates were alerted by Luffy's shouting. One of them grabbed a telescope and looked up and discovered that the bird was carrying someone. Captain, there's a bird carrying someone over us. What should we do? The pirate asked his captain, who was sitting down on his throne. Meh, just shoot it down, he responded casually. Somewhere else in town. Nami was running through the town as fast as she could, with 3 big, strong, angry pirates running after her. Give back our map, they ordered. No, I stole it, it's mine, Nami replied, confusing the pirates with her logic. An explosion in the sky halted the chase for a moment. Then something fell down from the sky and crashed in the middle of the 4, creating a lot of dust. When the dust cleared, Nami was surprised, and at the same time relieved, at what she saw. It was one of the pirates who she had given a ride to Shell's town. What a landing! Luffy exclaimed, dusting himself off and putting his straw hat back on his head. Nami took this moment to her advantage. Thanks for coming for me, boss, she told him, getting the pirates to direct their anger at him. I'll let you take care of him. She then ran off to hide from the pirates. What's Nami doing here? Luffy asked himself silently. So you're her boss, the pirates whispered ominously. The ominous feeling was ruined when one of the pirates threw a punch that hit Luffy square in the jaw. Luffy wasn't worried. He knew that being a rubber man he was invulnerable to physical attacks, but he was worried when he saw his treasure lift off his head and onto the ground due to the force of the attack. That worry turned into anger in a matter of seconds. Don't touch my hat, Luffy yelled as he punched the offending pirate in the gut as hard as he could, sending him flying into the building behind him. He then turned to the 2 beside him, taking care of them with simple punches to the face. Luffy knocked them all out cold in a matter of seconds. Wow, you're tougher than I thought, Nami proclaimed as she sat on the roof of a nearby house. She watched as he went to pick up his hat. I would ask if he would like to join up with me, but I remember him telling me that he was a pirate. But that kid said never to judge someone like that. He seems pretty nice, so I might as well give him something to eat, Nami thought. Hey Luffy, want some food? Nami asked. Luffy's face lit up at her question. Yay, Luffy answered. Nami jumped down and led Luffy inside the house she was standing on top of. You live here? No, the owners are out, Nami corrected. Luffy frowned. So you're stealing? Luffy told her blatantly. Everyone in town is in the shelter, they're practically giving me their valuables, Nami informed Luffy, who still had his frown on, until Nami gave him some food, to which he started chomping down on as fast than an admiral. Nami was slightly disgusted by the speed at which he was eating. Ah, Luffy sighed as he patted his stomach, happy with the meal he had eaten. Why are you here? Buggy had the map of the Grand Line. I've got it now, but Buggy still has a lot of treasure left that I want, Nami explained. If you've got a map of the Grand Line, you must be good at navigation, Luffy reasoned. Yep. There aren't many people that know more about navigation than I do, she replied. Join my crew. Be my navigator, Luffy told her. No way, I'll never become a pirate, Nami shouted at him. Come on, join my crew. It's fun, Luffy pleaded, trying to convince her to join. Nami was about to yell at him again, but then thought of an idea. Okay. If you're so inclined to have me as your navigator, I will, Nami lied. Yay! Luffy exclaimed. But you have to do this one thing for me, Nami added, with an evil grin on her face. Buggy's crew at the center of the town. There was a large party going on the roof of a bar. The pirates were eating, drinking, getting drunk. However, this all stopped when 3 pirates came up to the obvious leader that was sitting on a throne. The man donned a striped short-sleeved white and red shirt, white gloves, a green sash around his waist, striped socks and pointy shoes. A scarf around his neck and hanging from his shoulders was an orange, fur-lined captain's coat. On his head was an orange hat that had his Jolly Roger on it and light green pants. He had a makeup all over his face, and the most ridiculous thing of his attire was his bright red nose. CC Captain, we W were GG gaining on her. B but then T this straw hat KK kid fell F from the SS Sky and P protected the girl. One of the pirates explained. So, you're saying that a kid, who fell out of the sky, beat you guys up and protected the girl? The captain replied. Why yes. Another pirate answered. Moji, he said, getting attention from the man on his left, kill these fools. Moji nodded as he started walking to the pirates. Buggy. They stopped as they turned towards the origin of the sound. It was Nami who had Luffy tied up in a rope and the map in her hand. See Captain. That's the girl A and the kid. One of the pirates informed the now identified Buggy. Buggy. I want to join your crew, Nami proclaimed, surprising everyone. I'm sick of working for an idiot. She then threw Luffy on the ground in front of Buggy and then handed Buggy the map. The clown looked at Luffy for a moment, then turned to Nami. Everyone. Celebrate our new crew member Nami. At his words everyone continued partying, except for Luffy who was locked up in a steel cage, attempting to bite his way out of it. How's it going boss? Nami asked, slightly amused at the predicament Luffy was in. You're a mean girl. I'd never let you join my crew, Luffy pouted. Can you at least get me some food? Nami sighed and handed him some of her food. I guess I was wrong, you can join my crew. I won't join your crew you baka. Nami shouted at her former boss. More importantly, don't you see the situation you're in? You're likely to be sold by these pirates. I'll beat them up if they try that, Luffy proclaimed. Nami giggled quietly at his confidence. Don't worry, if my plan works smoothly, I'll unlock this cage and you can run away. Open it now then. Luffy replied rudely. Nami was about to reply when she noticed Buggy next to her. Giahahaha. You've got yourself a pretty good follower, thief boss. Buggy laughed while holding a large glass of rum. What are you talking about? Luffy asked, confused as to what the clown was talking about. Yes. Many people would try and lie out of a situation like this. Especially when they've just been betrayed. Buggy taunted, crouching down so that they were both at eye level. Even though I got my map back, it is still a terrible crime to steal from a man such as I. Your fate has been decided. You're gonna let me go? Luffy asked. Baka? Buggy shouted, as he stood up and made a pose. Men, prepare the Buggy Ball. The whole crew turned into a frenzy of drunken hysteria. The Buggy Ball is ready, Captain, a random crew member said as he put the cannonball into the cannon. All right. Show them. Show them its power. Buggy yelled in anticipation of what was to come. The cannonball was released from the cannon, destroying everything in its path. It had crushed around a quarter of the town. Nami and Luffy both gaped at the power of the cannonball. All of those houses. Nami said to herself. Giahahaha. The power is so great. It can wipe out the whole village in a matter of seconds. This and the powers I gained from the Akuma no Mi guarantee my success on the Grand Line. Buggy boasted. Now Nami. Shoot the cannon. Prove your loyalty and sincerity by killing your old boss, once and for all. Luffy looked on passively. Kill him, me? Nami asked, sweating madly. I don't think that's necessary, more importantly. Yes. D drink. Let's drink and party. Let's ignore him. Nami tried to convince him to continue their party. Kill him. Buggy told the burglar, leaving no room for discussion. All of the crew started shouting, cheering for Nami to kill the straw hat wearing boy. Shoot. Many of them cheered. Come on Nami. Kill him in one go. Buggy yelled. Luffy continued to look on passively. Crap, I didn't think something like this would happen. If I don't shoot then I'll die for sure. Even though Luffy is a pirate. But if I do shoot then there's no difference between me and those rotten pirates. Nami thought. Nami. Stop spoiling the fun. Hurry up and light the cannon. Buggy commanded. Nami started shaking all over. Luffy noticed it. Your hand is shaking, Luffy said. Quiet enough for only Nami to hear. There's a strong oath that all true pirate has sworn to. You lack the strength of that oath. A strong oath? I wonder what that is. Is it to kill innocent people like insects? Is that the pirate's oath? Nami asked, still shaking and sweating. No, Luffy grinned madly. It's being strong enough to risk your life. Nami stared at Luffy for a while, amazed that he could be grinning at a time like this. Oi, new kid, stop wasting time, let me do it. A pirate came up to Nami and took the match. As he went to light the match, Nami pulled out 3 sticks from a strap on her thigh, connected them together to form a staff and slammed it against the pirate. Damn it. What have I done? Nami screamed at herself internally. Nami. What the hell do you think you're doing? I gave you the honor of lighting the fuse and this is how you repay me. Buggy yelled, outraged at Nami's actions. Oh, you're saving me now? Luffy asked. Shut up, Baka. I did it 'cause I didn't want to become anything like an evil pirate. Like I said before, pirates took the life of someone precious to me. I hate pirates more than anything, Nami exclaimed. Ah, now I remember. Luffy recalled Nami and Naruto's conversation on the boat. Then he noticed the fuse of the cannon burning. Ah, I can't die here. He started desperately biting the bars of the cage. You, kill her, painfully, Buggy ordered his crew, barely able to contain his rage. Members of the crew ran at Nami, brandishing their knives. Someone put out the fuse. Luffy yelled, continuing to try and bite his way out of the cage. Nami swung her staff at the men. But they were more acrobatically capable than she thought and were able to jump above her attack. Missed us. They taunted. Nami ran away from the men to the cannon and held the fuse in her hand in an attempt to put out the fuse, burning her in the process. Act. Nami grimaced in pain. Behind you, 4 of the crew members shouted as they jumped at Nami from behind. Nami was preparing her body for the attack, but she was surprised when none of the attacks met. She turned around, still holding the fuse. She gasped when she saw the attackers were lying on the ground with a kunai in all of their heads. They were dead. How? Nami asked to seemingly no one. Because of me. A voice said behind her. Nami turned around quickly to be met with the face of Naruto. He was crouching down on the cannon. Naruto. Luffy yelled with joy. Where's Zoro? Right here, Zoro said as he walked up the stairs to the roof. Naruto rushed off, saying something about fighting one of the top dogs of the East Blue. Zoro? Members of the Buggy Pirates started talking amongst themselves. Nami, are you alright? Naruto asked, keeping his eyes on Buggy. Why yay, I'm okay. Nami said, astounded that a kid was able to kill 4 men in seconds. Thank God you were able to find this place. Now can you get me out? Luffy asked Zoro. At this he seemed to get angry. Zoro marched over to the cage. Baka. Is this your idea of fun? Zoro shouted, getting up in Luffy's face. You get caught by a bird, fly away and now I find you in a cage. Luffy just laughed at him. Hey, that guy, Zoro. Did he just say Zoro? A pirate asked. That's the pirate hunter Zoro. Why is he talking with the thief? Another asked. Look at the K kid. He just killed them in the blink of an eye, another exclaimed. You're definitely Zoro. Have you come here for my head? Buggy said as he walked towards him. No, I don't have any interest in that, but he does. Zoro pointed to Naruto. Buggy raised his eyebrow. I didn't think that they let kids become bounty hunters, Buggy said. I'm not a bounty hunter. Naruto told Buggy as he jumped down from the cannon and started walking to Buggy, an evil grin growing on his face. Then why do you want to take my head? Buggy asked, genuinely confused. To see where I stand in the East Blue. Naruto answered. Buggy was about to retort, but he wasn't fast enough as Naruto rushed at him and slashed him across the torso, head and left leg. The remains of Buggy fell to the floor. Huh. That guy's so weak, Luffy exclaimed, not believing someone so weak was holding him captive. Geez, that was easy. Zoro commented. Naruto, however, was not falling for Buggy's trick. He noticed the crew starting to laugh. The crew's laughing. That's not the usual reaction they have. This must happen a lot. And on top of that there's no blood coming out of Buggy. Naruto thought. Hey Zoro. Get me out of here, Luffy yelled, wanting to get out of the cage as soon as he could. Okay, Zoro answered. He swung his sword as hard as he could, but to no avail. These bars won't break. This thing won't open without a key, Zoro told his captain. Ha 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 ha. The crew started crying because of how much they were laughing. What the hell's so funny? Just give us the key. I don't want to have to fight all of you, Zoro shouted at them, annoyed at how much they were laughing. While Zoro was shouting, Naruto was looking at the remains of Buggy, like an eagle, looking for any subtle movements. The hand that still had a knife in it twitched and started floating. Naruto noticed this and stomped down on it as hard as he could. Aya! Buggy screamed in pain. It was at this point that all of the laughter ceased. What the hell? Zoro said. So he's not dead, Luffy commented. Get up Buggy. Naruto commanded, stepping back. The different sections of Buggy started floating and then connected together. Bara bara no mi, Buggy stated, to which Naruto raised an eyebrow. That's the name of the Akuma no mi I ate. No matter how much you slice me up I'll still come together again. With this power I will take the Grand Line by storm. Akuma no mi. I thought those were just myths, Nami yelled. Geez, that guy's a monster, Luffy exclaimed. That's a bit hypocritical, Zoro replied. Hippo what Ical? Luffy was confused by the word. Never mind. Zoro dismissed. So I can't slice you Naruto muttered. Buggy kept his smug look on his face. So what? That's not gonna make a difference, he said as he threw one of his kunai straight for Buggy's neck. Bara bara kinkyu dashutsu. Buggy yelled out his attack as he detached his head from the rest of his body, allowing the kunai to fly right past him. I already told you Baka. Knives don't work on me, Naruto smirked. You're wrong, Naruto told him, figuring out Buggy's weakness. It's true that I can't slice you, as when I tried your body automatically separated itself. However, when I threw that kunai at you, you had to make a conscious effort to dodge it. Slicing attacks don't work on you, but thrusting attacks do. Shit. How did he figure out my weakness? In just 2 attacks? Buggy thought to himself as he attempted to keep his smug facade. Huh. You can't beat him. Big nose, Luffy yelled, happy that his first mate was able to find a clear way to beat him. The second he finished speaking, the atmosphere became so tense you could cut through. Did he just call sea captain? Even the crew members were scared at the moment. What did you just call me? Buggy shouted at the top of his face. He then threw his fist holding a knife straight at Luffy. It went to fast both Naruto and Zoro to stop. It went straight at Luffy's mouth. Luffy! Naruto and Zoro shouted, hoping that Luffy was alright. Luffy looked straight at Buggy. He had caught the blade in his mouth. You can't beat us. We'll take you down, Luffy proclaimed. To this Buggy laughed hysterically. Giahahaha. You're gonna take me down. You're hilarious. All 4 of you are gonna die right here, on the spot. Buggy laughed, his crew following suit. How are you going to take me down, Straw Hat? Run away. Naruto. Zoro. Luffy told them, not as a friend, but as the captain. Both glanced at Luffy for a second, before they were able to understand the underlying message and nodded. Nami, however, wasn't able to understand it. God. Pirates are so hard to understand. I better think of a way to get out of here myself, Nami thought. You think I'm gonna let you go? Bara bara ho, Buggy shouted as he launched both fists holding knives at Zoro, who Buggy had wanted kill from the beginning. However, before they met Zoro, Naruto got in between him and the fists and fought them off. Zoro kept running, towards the cannon. He got underneath it and flipped it over. Ka! It's pointed at us. The pirates were all in a frightened state. Auk! That still has a buggy ball in it, Buggy screamed in panic. Oi! I need a light, Zoro told Nami, who happened to have one. Stop it! Buggy yelled. When he realized they wouldn't stop he shouted, duck! The buggy ball went off on the roof, causing a large explosion. This is a good time to go. Who are you anyway? Zoro asked Nami. This is Nami. Our navigator. Luffy introduced Nami for her. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Didn't you say you hated pirates? Naruto asked. Nami was slightly annoyed. You baka. You're still on about that. If you've got time to say things like that, then try and figure out a way to get out of that cage, Nami yelled. That's a good idea. I'll do that, Luffy exclaimed. No, it's okay. Zoro told him, you just stay in that cage. Zoro put his hands around the bars and mustered up enough strength to lift up the cage. Yay Zoro! Luffy cheered from within the cage. Damn it! I'm not gonna let them escape. Buggy shouted from within the dust the explosion accumulated. Why he is doing these things? They're just pirates. Nami thought to herself. They then ran away as fast as they could. Well, not for Naruto, as he had to stay back with Zoro to see if he needed help. Just in time too, as the dust cleared away, showing that Buggy and some of his crew survived the cannonball. Where'd they go? Buggy stared at the empty space that previously occupied the Straw Hat crew. They've gone, Captain, a crew member informed. Zoro? Nami? That kid? Even the cage? They're all gone, another pointed out. No way. That cage took 5 people to drag up here. No one could believe that they ran away like that. Crap. It's been stolen, another member said. What's been stolen? Buggy demanded, not in the mood for more failure. The key to the cage, it's gone, the same crew member said. Those impudent fools. How dare they steal from me? Buggy shouted in outrage. Who am I? He asked his crew. The pirate, Buggy the clown, Captain, they answered immediately. That's right. I know they aren't common thieves. Men. We are now at war. Buggy exclaimed. Moji. A man whose hair that made him look like a teddy bear wearing blue pants and a yellow sash around his waist and white fur on his chest, while riding a giant lion, came up to Buggy. You called, Captain Buggy. The man, now known as Moji, stated. He had an air of superiority around him, and the cheers he was getting from the crew were filling his ego. Yes. I want you to kill the 4 fools who stole from us. Buggy ordered his vice captain. May I have the honor of taking Roronoa Zoro's head? Moji asked. Do whatever you want. Buggy answered. Elsewhere in town. We're pretty far from the bar now. Naruto told all of them. They won't be able to catch up with us soon. Zoro said as he continued to drag the cage. Our escape was done well, but this cage is really starting to annoy me. Yay. If this thing doesn't open up, I won't get to fight Big Nose, Luffy replied. Zoro collapsed from exhaustion. This is it, I can't walk any longer, Zoro said to his captain. What's up with that dog? Naruto asked. Zoro and Luffy turned their head and saw that they were right next to a white dog. Zoro moved to lean against a column supporting the house they were next to. Are you sure it's a dog? It's not moving, Luffy asked. Whatever. Right now you've gotta think of a way to get out of that cage, Zoro told Luffy. I wonder if it's dead, Luffy wondered as he poked it. It responded by biting Luffy's face. Ack. This caused a small rumble between him and the dog. Stupid dog. What the hell do you think you're doing? Ha ha ha. Naruto laughed at the fact that even during serious situations, Luffy was still able to get into the funniest situations. What on earth are you guys doing in the middle of the street? Buggy will find you for sure, Nami said as she caught up with the 3. Hey, our navigator. Naruto greeted Nami, purposely trying to annoy her. Don't even think about it, Nami replied, trying to contain her anger. I just came to repay my debt to you because you saved my life back there. Repay? Luffy asked. Nami responded by throwing a key down. The key? You stole the key? Yay. Even I thought it was stupid to get it, Nami said in hindsight. Yes. I thought I was gonna die from the headache it was giving me, Luffy exclaimed. Phew. Seems like the dangerous escape is paying off, Zoro said, happy that his efforts paid off. Their happy mood was cut off when the dog picked up the key and ate it. Naruto facepalmed. You stupid dog. Luffy shouted as he started shaking the dog from the neck. Spit it out. That's not food. Get your hands off Chow Chow. The crew turned to see an elderly-looking man wearing a yellow-lined shirt and dark green shorts. He had brown armor chest plate with gauntlets and shin guards. He had gray hair. Who are you? Naruto asked. I'm this village's mayor, Boodle. Boodle introduced himself. Okay. Luffy replied simply. What are you doing to Chow Chow? He asked. His rage was clear. The stupid dog ate the key to this cage. Luffy explained. I see, hey Chow Chow's not stupid, he replied. Why's the dog even here? Shouldn't he be back at the shelter? Nami asked. He's guarding the store, I just came to give him some food, Boodle answered. Hey, Osan, before we keep talking, is there anywhere I can sleep? Zoro asked. Yes, right over there. Boodle pointed at a house on his right. Zoro attempted to get up but was too tired. I got ya. Naruto told him as he heaved him over his shoulder and carried him into the house. Why is he guarding this place anyway? Luffy asked. The owner of this place was a friend of mine. 10 years ago he opened this store with Chow Chow. This precious store is filled with cherished memories for the two. I wished they could experience those memories. But just look at those wounds, they're definitely from fighting those pirates and protecting the store. Boodle explained. What kind of person leaves their dog to guard a store, especially when pirates are the enemy? The owner is at the shelter with the other people, right? Nami was disgusted that someone would leave their dog like that. No, the owner passed away some time ago, Boodle corrected. Couldn't the dog be? Nami started. Waiting for its master. Boodle finished her sentence. That's what everyone else thinks. But I think it's something else. Chow Chow's a smart dog, he knows that his owner has passed away. Then why does it still guard the store? Nami asked. This store is Chow Chow's treasure. He loved his owner so much, and since this is the only thing he has left of him, I think he'll continue to guard it. I've tried to take him to the shelter a few times, but he won't leave this place. Boodle explained. Nami smiled at the dog's courage. It was at this point when Naruto exited the house. Hey, what did I miss? Naruto asked. Before Nami could answer, they all heard a loud roar. What is that? Nami asked. Her fright was clear. That guy. The bee-beast trainer Moji, Boodle exclaimed. I hope he's strong, Naruto said as he slowly grew an evil grin. See? Now something's coming. Give me the key, you thing, Luffy said to the dog. Nami and the mayor ran away as fast as they could, while Naruto jumped on top of the pet store. Well, I found one guy, Moji stated as he and his lion stood proudly in front of Luffy. I'm a member of Buggy's crew. Ho 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 ho. It seems that the people you were with have ditched you. So sad, and you tried so hard to escape. Moji and his lion stalked up to Luffy. Captain Buggy's pretty mad at you. You committed a serious crime. What the hell are you supposed to be? Wearing a fur cap like that? Luffy wasn't paying any attention to Moji's threats. Instead he was focusing on his fur. Baka. Watch what you're saying. This is my hair. Moji defended his hair. That just makes it weirder. Luffy said plainly. Shut up. You're in a cage, so you don't fully understand how scary I am, Moji reasoned. There's no animal in the world that I cannot tame, including this dog. He pointed right at Chow Chow. He jumped off of his lion and held out a hand to the dog. Shake, he commanded, but to no success as Chow Chow bit his hand immediately. You're just some nameless thief. He almost instantly appeared back on top of his lion. You just gave up. Luffy told him. I have no reason to kill you. Just tell me where Roronoa Zoro is. Moji demanded. I don't wanna. Luffy answered. Kill him, Richie. Moji commanded his lion. Richie raised his paw into the air and smashed it down on the cage. Luffy used this as a way to escape the cage. He leapt out and landed on the ground. Yahoo! I'm free, Luffy yelled gleefully. However, he didn't have any time to celebrate as Moji, proving that he had some strength, kicked him into a house. That was instantaneous. He talks back to me and that's what he gets. Now I have to go and find Roronoa Zoro. If I kill him I'll get an even better reputation. Moji explained. Richie growled as he looked at the pet store ahead of him. Goodness Richie, hurry up and finish your meal. The lion started to approach the store. Chow Chow stood his ground. Naruto jumped down from the roof and stared right into the lion's eyes. Guess this is a good time to test out my new attack, Naruto thought. Lion, Naruto said ominously as his eyes started turning from blue to red and his pupil became slit, like a fox. Richie stared straight into his eyes. Akuma no Yuru. 1. To everyone else nothing happened. But to Richie his entire world was in chaos. The sky was blood red and there was no sun. The town's houses were on fire. The ground was pitch black and the boy in front of him kept on twitching until a dark red, almost black layer of liquid overcame him. He had clear white eyes and a bloodthirsty grin. He had fox-like ears and 4 swaying tails behind him, too. Richie. Moji didn't know what was going on with him. He was gazing right at the boy, whimpering every so often. Naruto smirked. It had worked perfectly. Naruto then pulled out a kunai and started to run up Richie's left arm, leaving light cuts on his skin. He ran all the way up to Moji, who was already panicking, but just before he cut him, he disappeared in a burst of speed and appeared behind him. Akuma Dorapukira. Naruto shouted as he delivered his dropkick to Moji, sending him all the way down the street. Naruto looked down at Richie. The lion was unconscious. His mind couldn't handle the chaos. Naruto smirked as he lay down on Richie's soft fur. You're not all bad, your fur's pretty comfy. With Luffy pulled himself out of the wreckage unharmed and started to walk in the direction of the pet store, before he was stopped by Boodle and Nami. You're still alive? Boodle exclaimed. Can't I be alive? Luffy asked, not sure what they were worrying about. How'd you manage to survive? You went through a house, but you seem perfectly fine, Nami asked. He didn't kick that hard anyway. Luffy shrugged it off. What are you doing here? What's your goal? Boodle asked. My goal is to get me a navigator. And the map of the Grand Line. Luffy answered. I'm gonna go see Zoro, that fur cap guy's looking for him. Baka. Don't. This time you'll really get eaten, Boodle warned, but Luffy ignored him and kept walking on. Luffy turned the corner to see Moji trying to get out of the ground. That blonde bastard. I'll show him, he stated as he climbed out of the ground. He turned and saw Luffy behind him. You're still alive? I can't die that easily. I'm a rubberman, Luffy exclaimed. Rubberman? I know you have the devil's luck, but I think you may have hit your head to start thinking like that. Moji wasn't able to accept the fact that there might be someone else in the East Blue with an Akuma no Mi ability. Here, I'll show you. He threw his arms forward while twisting them and gripped Moji's head. His arms. Moji gasped. Luffy smirked as he untwisted his arms, rapidly spinning Moji. He then brought his hands down on the ground, at the same time bringing Moji's head down with it. Luffy smirked and continued walking to the house Zoro was sleeping in. He got to the pet store and saw Naruto, lying on the unconscious lion. Both Boodle and Nami were watching him. Wow. Boodle said to himself. Naruto, get off the lion, Nami yelled. Nami, if you shout you might wake it up, Naruto informed Nami. She covered both hands over her mouth to stop her from talking. Naruto then turned to Boodle. I gathered supplies from the nearby houses and patched up Chow Chow to the best of my ability. I'm no doctor, so after we're finished with Buggy you're gonna have to give him another check. Nami and Boodle turned to Chow Chow, who remained outside the pet store, however now he had bandages wrapped around the previously injured spots. Thank you. Boodle thanked. It's all right. He was pretty brave during the fight, you should be proud. Naruto congratulated Chow Chow on his bravery. Nami could only stare on. He did all that, just for the dog? Nami wondered to herself while she kept looking at Naruto. You've returned Moji, Buggy said as he heard steps coming up to the roof of the bar. He wasn't expecting to see a battered and bloody Moji. I give my sincere apologies, Captain Buggy. Moji apologized weakly. The Straw Hat beat me. What? You were defeated by Straw Hat? Weren't you fighting Zoro? Buggy yelled, unhappy with the failure. Yes, I also have underestimated the guy. The truth is, that guy is a man. That was all Moji could say before he fell unconscious. What the hell was he trying to say? The crew started to talk amongst each other. Vice Captain Moji said something. What was he trying to say? All I could hear was, man? What in the world is, man? Oh, does this mean he attacked so thoughtlessly? Buggy asked himself. This got the attention of the crew. I think Captain Buggy knows. That Baka, he's a rough man. It makes me so mad. Buggy, thinking that he had uncovered what Moji was trying to say. I'm sick to death of this town. Men, gather up all of the Buggy balls. We're gonna destroy this village. It'll all be dust. Pet store Naruto was still lying down on Richie. Luffy was sitting down in the street and Nami and Boodle were standing up. Boodle, however, was shaking with rage. I can't stand it anymore. Boodle yelled. It's pathetic. So pathetic. That Chow Chow and you youngsters are fighting like this, but the village mayor can only watch as the village gets trampled on by pirates. Wait, Boodle, calm down. Nami tried to get Boodle to calm down from his outburst. To a real man there are some fights that cannot be avoided, isn't that right, Straw Hat? Boodle shouted at Luffy. Damn right. Luffy cheered. Don't encourage him. Nami bonked Luffy over the head. This place has grown into a beautiful village harbor. It's a village made by the old people, and it's a village we made. This village and the villagers are my treasures. What kind of mayor doesn't protect his village? I'm going to fight, Boodle proclaimed. He started marching for the bar, but didn't make it too far as a massive explosion took out the majority of the houses on his left. AHCK. The force of the explosion threw them away. Even my house. The mayor grimaced. Zoro was sleeping in there, Naruto yelled as he got off Richie. Is he dead? That kid with the haramaki? Boodle asked. Hey Zoro. Are you still alive? Luffy yelled. Out of the dust and debris came Zoro. Yay, that was a terrible wake-up call though. Zoro answered to their calls. You're alive, Luffy exclaimed, happy that his swordsman was still alive and kicking. Geez, everyone is able to survive these things now, Nami said to herself. It feels like my chest is being scraped out. The mayor clutched his chest as he said it. Do you think I'll let pirates trample all over this town? I'll never allow some punk to destroy 40 years of hard work. I am the mayor. I won't leave and let the village be treated this way. I'm gonna go fight. He started running off. Nami was holding on to him though. Wait a minute. Nami tried to get him to stop. Get off me, kid, Boodle yelled at her. Those people are too dangerous. They'll kill you. It's too dangerous. Nami tried to convince him to stay. I know it's dangerous, Boodle shouted back, with tears in his eyes. Seeing this, Nami let go. You just wait. Buggy the clown, he shouted as he ran as fast as he could to the bar. The mayor was crying. Nami told them. Really, I didn't see anything, Luffy replied. Naruto smirked. This is starting to feel a lot more fun, Naruto told the group. She. I agree, Luffy responded with vigor. How can you still be laughing? Nami yelled. Don't worry, I like that Osan. I won't let him die. Luffy calmed down Nami. Where does your confidence come from? Nami asked. We're going to the Grand Line. If we don't have confidence we won't make it, Naruto told her. Luffy nodded. Now we're gonna go take that map of the Grand Line from Buggy and beat him up, Luffy told them his plan. Speaking of that, Naruto, how do you plan on beating Buggy? Zoro asked. I'm not gonna fight him, Naruto answered. You're not? Before we got here you seemed so excited to fight him. Zoro didn't understand Naruto's reasoning. The whole reason that I wanted to fight him was because I wanted to see where I stood against one of the top dogs of the East Blue, Naruto told him. I get to fight Buggy, Luffy shouted before Zoro could say anything. He then turned to Nami. Will you join us? You need the map and the treasure. He held out his hand. Nami slapped it away. I'm not gonna be a pirate, Nami told him, causing Luffy to pout, but I do want the treasure and the map. We'll cooperate. Yay. I've got a navigator, Luffy cheered. We're just cooperating, Nami fumed. Let's go, Naruto said as he started walking in the direction of the bar. What are you gonna be doing during the fight, Naruto? Zoro asked. Naruto shrugged. Dunno. I'm not gonna fight any more grunts. Buggy probably has a swordsman for you to fight. I guess I'll help Nami get the treasure, Naruto answered. Nami raised an eyebrow. Are you sure? You're gonna have to be pretty stealthy, Nami informed. Naruto just smirked back. Trust me, Naruto said. Are you sure? Nami asked. Don't worry, Nami. Naruto's really stealthy and fast. When we were playing hide and seek as kids we could never find him. Even when he said where he was, Luffy explained. Fine. Nami sighed. Bar, quick. Prepare the next Buggy Ball, Buggy ordered, wanting to destroy the village as soon as he could. Buggy the clown. Get down here now and fight me, Boodle yelled from the ground. Did you call me? Buggy asked as he looked down on him. I'm the village's mayor, Boodle. Now get down here and fight me, Boodle shouted. Bawahahaha. Fight the captain, the crew laughed. Do you actually think you can win, Captain Buggy? Said a tall, slender man with a haircut that covered half of his face. He had a large blue and white scarf that covered the lower portion of his face, a sleeveless purple coat that went down to his knees. He wore white pants and white shoes. He wore a light blue sash on his waist. He was currently on a unicycle. What is it, Cabaji? Buggy asked the man known as Cabaji. Leave the small fish to me, he said as he drew a sword from his throat. Oh. It's Cabaji's acrobat show. The crew got excited. He jumped through the air, whilst on the unicycle and landed in front of Boodle. Because I feel like my skills are beginning to rust, he said whilst spinning a top on the tip of his sword. Baka, it was me who he called for, let me handle it, Buggy said. Ah, I wanted to see Cabaji's acrobat show. The crew pouted. Hey, why are you challenging me? Buggy asked, do you want fame? No. It's because I want to protect the village and its people. This is my treasure, Boodle answered. Giahahaha. What a baka. The word, treasure, means gold, silver, and jewels. The village is your treasure. Giahahaha. Buggy laughed at the old man's ideals. Shut up and fight me down here, Boodle yelled. Go down there. Nah. Buggy said as he launched his fist forward and started choking Boodle. Monster. Boodle wheezed out. He then started punching Buggy's fist, damaging his neck in the process. Ack. Why are you hurting your own neck? Buggy shouted. How dare you do this? Let me tell you who I am. I am Buggy the Clown. And soon the Grand Line will be within reach. I'll have all the treasure in the world. I suppose that since this town is your treasure you would be honored to become dust with it. Buggy got a cannon and set it up facing Boodle. What the hell, bastard? Fight me. Boodle yelled. Whatever, blow him apart. Buggy commanded his crew. Buggy tried to get his hand to come back, but it wasn't working. He looked down and fumed at what he saw. Straw Hat. Buggy yelled. Luffy was holding Boodle and Buggy's hand. I've kept my promise. I'm gonna beat you, Luffy said as he released Buggy's hand. So you've come without fear and on your own will. You're all fools. Buggy shouted as he looked down on the four. Naruto, let's get going. Nami told Naruto. Naruto nodded and picked up Nami, put her over his shoulder and ran as fast as he could behind the bar. Why are you here? This is my fight. Don't interfere, Boodle yelled. He was about to get up again but Luffy pushed his head into a nearby house. Huh? Buggy gaped. Why'd you do that? Zoro asked. 'Cause he would just get in the way, Luffy replied. Smart thinking. If we had left him alone he would have undoubtedly charged in. It's safer for him like this, Zoro said as he undid his bandana and placed it over his head. Luffy nodded and turned to Buggy. Hey, big nose, Luffy shouted. Fire the Buggy ball, Buggy shouted with uncontrollable rage. The crew lit the fuse and let off the cannon. It soared through the air directly towards Luffy. Oi Luffy. Dodge it, Zoro yelled. Do you think that just 'cause it's a cannonball I'll move a single inch? Luffy asked as it came closer towards him. Gomu no. Luffy started to suck in air. Fusen. The cannonball connected with Luffy but instead of exploding, it bounced back at Buggy. You could have said something sooner. Zoro sighed as the bar exploded. Aren't Nami and Naruto behind there? Don't worry, Naruto's fast, he probably got out of the way, Luffy said. The dust cleared to reveal Buggy holding up two of his crew members and Cabaji holding up Moji. This is the biggest humiliation we've received under our flag, Captain, Cabaji said. I'm so mad words fail me, Buggy replied. Also next time try not to use Moji, try and use someone more expendable. Cabaji nodded. Moji twitched and opened one of his eyes. See, Captain, straw, Rubberman, Moji muttered out. Buggy took notice of this. Rubberman? Buggy asked. Yay, wanna see? Luffy pulled both cheeks as far as he could. So that's how he was able to deflect the Buggy ball, Buggy reasoned. He then took a hold of Moji and threw him at Luffy. If you knew this, why didn't you tell me before? Get out of the way, Luffy shouted as he gave Moji a crescent kick into the house beside them. The fight's begun. They heard a unicycle coming at them from behind. Buggy's pirate fleet's commander, Cabaji the acrobat. I will avenge the pain you've caused the crew. Cabaji proclaimed as he thrusted his sword at Luffy, only to be blocked by Zoro. If it's swords, I'm all for it, Zoro said. Roronoa Zoro, as a swordsman it's an honor to fight you, Cabaji told him. Cabaji took notice that they were currently stuck. Cabaji used that to his advantage. Kyokugi, Kaji Oyaji. He pulled down his scarf and blew fire onto Zoro's face. Ack! Zoro grunted in pain as Cabaji followed up with a sidekick to the torso. Zoro stumbled back a few steps. Shit! I can't let him have the advantage, Zoro thought to himself. Cabaji stuck his sword into the ground and then started to spin it, accumulating a lot of dust. Kyokugi! Yukamori Satsujin Jiken, Cabaji shouted. Some trick, it's just a cloud of dust, Zoro said to himself. Suddenly Cabaji came from the dust at an alarming rate. Zoro brought his swords up just in time to block his strike. Zoro saw that Cabaji was going for another kick to the torso. He was able to block the strike with his own leg and roll out of the cloud of dust. Come on Roronoa Zoro, I thought you would be more difficult, Cabaji in a smug manner. Even though you are the famed pirate hunter. Making enemies with the buggy pirates was a massive mistake. Luffy watched on with a stone face. Cabaji reeled back his sword. Die. Roronoa Zoro. Just before he was able to stab Zoro, he got up and smacked him across the face, causing him to fall off his unicycle. How annoying, do you like all of those tricks? Zoro asked. Let me help you. He then did something no one thought he would do. He cut himself in the area that Cabaji kicked before, causing his blood to spill all over the ground. Aya, Luffy yelled, not understanding what Zoro was doing. Is my condition satisfying you now? Let me teach you the difference in our levels. Zoro told him. Wah, so cool, Luffy cheered. You fool, Cabaji stated, keeping his smug look on his face. Anyone that calls themselves a swordsman, I refuse to lose to them. Zoro exclaimed, putting a sword in his mouth. You've got a strong determination. But with such a serious wound, how do you expect to beat me? Cabaji asked. Don't worry, this type of injury can't stop me from beating the likes of you. Zoro told him. Cabaji muttered, here. Taste my best trick. He pulled out spinning tops and started spinning them on his arm, Kyokugi. Kamikaze Hyakoma Gekiho. Cabaji threw all of his spinning tops, including the ones hidden beneath his clothing at Zoro. He then ran to a house beside him, Kyokugi. Yama Noburo. He then started going up the side of the house on his unicycle. Zoro deflected all of the spinning tops easily. If that's your best, then you really need some work. Zoro taunted. Cabaji jumped off the house, high in the air. Kyokugi. Norio Uchiage Hanabi. Cabaji shouted as he got high in the air and positioned himself in a stabbing position, Ichiran Zashi. He started to descend on Zoro, then they heard Buggy yell. Kai wo how bara bara ho. Buggy's fist flew and traveled the ground to Zoro's feet, Cabaji. I'll hold Zoro in place so you can end him. Yes, Captain, Cabaji yelled. Bastard, Zoro shouted. Just before he was able to reach Zoro, Luffy stomped on the hand. Gah, Buggy screamed in pain. Don't interfere with Zoro's fight, Luffy said with a grin on his face. Zoro smirked. Even without the captain's help, finishing you off will be a piece of cake, Cabaji proclaimed. Zoro quickly dodged Cabaji's strike. Stop now, I'm tired, Zoro said as he got up. You're tired, ha 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 ha, you've finally given up, Cabaji taunted, to which Zoro kicked him off his unicycle onto the ground. I meant I'm tired of being the opponent of someone who has such pitiful skills. Zoro corrected him in the most intimidating way possible. Then let me finish you off now, with my real sword skills, Cabaji shouted as he got back on the unicycle. Oni, Zoro said as he put one of his swords in his mouth and his arms across his chest, pointing his swords up. Die. Cabaji raced forward. Jiri. Zoro appeared behind Cabaji, who now had 3 deep cuts on him. Cabaji. Buggy shouted. The world's best pirate commander, taken down by a common thief, Cabaji said as he fell to the ground. We aren't common thieves, we're pirates, Zoro said as he too fell to the ground. Not because of the damage Cabaji caused him, it was because of the blood loss he had sustained from cutting himself. Luffy, I'm gonna take a nap. Yay, you sleep. I'm gonna finish this off. Luffy told with while flexing his bicep. With Nami and Naruto. Naruto and Nami were standing on the rubble of the bar. Naruto had been able to get Nami and get her out of the blast radius just in time. So where's the treasure? Naruto asked. Probably in the warehouse, Nami said, pointing to the warehouse south of the bar. Naruto picked Nami up and put her over his shoot again and jumped onto the roof of the warehouse. Can you stop doing that? Nami yelled. Stop doing what? Running or picking you up? Naruto asked as he set her down. Both. Nami told him. Come on. If I don't pick you up then I can't run. And carrying you in like that makes it easier for me. Naruto explained. Just don't do it. Nami yelled back. Hey, what's that? They heard a voice say from below them. They both got down immediately. Naruto crawled forward and saw two people guarding the warehouse armed with swords looking up in their direction. Great, now you've alerted the guards. Naruto sighed. Don't worry, I'll take care of them. Naruto dropped down to face the guards. What are you doing, kid? They asked. I'd like to join Buggy's pirate crew. Naruto lied. You're gonna have to go see the captain, but I think he's busy with Straw Hat Guy and Zoro. They answered. Thank you. Naruto turned around and then back-flipped over the two men and then stabbed them in the neck, while covering their mouth to keep them from making noise. He signaled for Nami to come down. She jumped down. That was professional, Nami stated. You must have done that before. Yay, I have, Naruto replied simply as he walked into the warehouse. Look, I don't like talking about my past, so can we not talk about it? Nami nodded. She didn't like talking about her past either. There was no one in the warehouse, so they were able to steal the gold without any trouble. Once they had gathered up all the gold and put them into separate bags, they noticed something. Hey, the Grand Line map isn't here, Nami exclaimed. Are you sure? Naruto asked. Yes, I'm sure, Nami responded. Well, hopefully it's on Buggy. Naruto sighed. It better be, or else this would have all been for nothing. Nami replied. Naruto raised an eyebrow. What did you mean? You still got the treasure you were after? Naruto reminded her. Nami shook her head. I know that. It's just that the Grand Line holds much more treasures than the East Blue. With the map I would be able to find much more than this. Nami explained. I see, Naruto said. Well, we're done here. Do you want to go see the rest of the fight? No, I'm getting out of here. It doesn't make a difference to me whether or not Luffy wins. Nami told him. Luffy's gonna win. Buggy's really weak, Naruto replied as he lifted up a bag of treasure. How can you be so sure? Nami asked. I've known him since I was 7, Nami. I know for a fact that Luffy is stronger than Buggy. Naruto replied. Nami shrugged. Whatever. Come on, help me carry these bags. Nami told him. I've already got one. Naruto told her. But you're stronger than me. Isn't it the hero's job to help the damsel in distress? Nami asked him rhetorically. It's a knight that does that, plus I don't wanna be a hero. Naruto said as he started to walk out of the warehouse. Why not? Nami asked. The conversation was starting to get interesting. Don't get me wrong, I like heroes and I respect them. But when you're a hero you have to take care of all these different people. Sure, I'll do my best to protect you and the rest of the crew, but not people I don't even know. If I see someone bullying someone I'll try and stop it. But if I hear that there's a war going on in another county, I won't go and try and stop it unless there's something I can gain from it. Naruto explained. Then why are you here? Nami asked. Well, for one, Luffy flew away and we had to catch him, but I was able to gain experience. Naruto answered. Experience? Nami questioned. Yep, I was able to have an encounter with one of the best in the East Blue. Because of this I know that I'll probably be able to beat any of the other top dogs if they come my way. Naruto replied. However, Nami knew that there was another person in the East Blue that she doubted anyone could beat. With Luffy and Buggy. You guys are pirates, Buggy shouted. Yay, and the rest of my crew are stealing your Grand Line map. Luffy informed him. So that's your goal. The Grand Line isn't somewhere that nameless pirates such as yourself can traverse. So what do you plan on doing there? Buggy asked. I'm gonna be the Pirate King, Luffy said plainly. Buggy gawked, unable to believe that someone like him could say something like that. Don't fool around. You become the Pirate King. Then I'm a god. The person who'll get his hands on the greatest treasure in the world is me. Buggy shouted. Shut up, I don't wanna hear that. Let's fight. Luffy yelled back. Watch your mouth. Gomu Gomu, seeing your straw hat reminds of a guy the first knew a long time ago. The impudent red hair, Buggy told Luffy. Red-haired, Luffy exclaimed, do you know Shanks? I'm not nice enough to tell you any information, even if it's the last thing you'll hear before your death. Buggy scoffed. Then I'll force it out, Luffy proclaimed as he reeled back his fist. You'll be dead before you hear it, Buggy told him, even though you're made of rubber, there are some things that won't bounce off you. He lifted up his left foot, to reveal a blade coming out of the tip, Bara Bara Senbei. He threw the lower part of his body at Luffy, while spinning and the blades showing. Like a buzz saw, Luffy simply jumped over it. Buggy took advantage of Luffy being in the air and threw several knives at Luffy. That ain't gonna work. He stretched out to grab a pole and pulled him away from danger. Oh ho, you can do things like that. How interesting, Buggy exclaimed as his lower body came back to him. Hey, Gomu Gomu no pistol, Luffy shouted as he threw his fist forward, straight at Buggy's head. However, the clown was able to sidestep it easily. That is quite an interesting ability. However, Buggy pulled out a knife, it's full of weakness. He started to bring the knife down. Luffy was able to grab hold of a windowsill and launched his body forward. Gomu Gomu no Kama, Luffy held his arm out aiming for Buggy's neck. Bara Bara Kinkyu Dashutsu, Buggy yelled as he detached his head, letting Luffy fly right past. You're not much of a threat, Gomu Gomu. Damn, he's separating into different sections, Luffy said to himself. Bara Bara Ho. Buggy launched his fist forward with knives in between his fingers. Luffy caught it by the forearm, but Buggy didn't let up. Hirahanashi. The fist detached from the forearm and flew forward. Luffy turned his head just for it to only graze him. You bastard, Luffy shouted out. You're pissed off that your face got hurt. That's what you're gonna have to deal with when you fight, Buggy told him. How dare you mess up this hat, Luffy said as he gripped his straw hat as tightly as he could. This is my treasure. I'll never forgive anyone who messes up this hat. Is the hat that precious to you? Buggy asked with an evil smirk on his face as his fist that cut Luffy floated up in the air behind Luffy. Yay, you bastard, Luffy answered. The hand threw a knife at Luffy's head. Luffy dodged easily, but it left his hat wide open. The fist soared straight at it, with 3 more knives in between its fingers. If it's that precious to you, then protect it properly, Buggy yelled as the hand stabbed straight through the hat. Yahahaha. What kind of treasure is this? Luffy started shaking with uncontrollable rage. He rushed towards Buggy, who was holding his hat. That's the hat that Shanks gave me, Luffy shouted. What? This is Shanks' hat. I thought it looked familiar, Buggy said as he spat on the hat. Me and him used to be on the same ship when we were cabin boys. Shanks is a great man. You say you were on the same ship? Luffy reeled back his fist. Bara Bara Kinkyu Dashutsu. Buggy detached his head as he prepared to dodge his punch. However, it was all a feint as Luffy smashed him in the gut with his knee. Don't you dare compare yourself to Shanks, Luffy screamed at the top of his lungs as he sent Buggy flying. Luffy didn't stop there and chased after him. When Buggy fell to the ground, Luffy wasted no time in punching him continuously. How dare you treat my treasure like that? Shanks being your comrade. Don't you ever say that again. Look, I don't know what kind of relationship you two had, but I can still speak about him however I want. Buggy rebelled, to which Luffy punched him even more. After a couple minutes of pounding, Luffy got up and walked over to his hat and placed it back on his head after cleaning it. Buggy struggled to get up. Throughout my whole life, even to today, there's been no one that has made me more furious than him. He took away an enormous amount of treasure from me. He made me eat the Akuma no Mi. He took away 100 million belly from me. Not only that, he took away my ability to swim. It was then that I decided that if I can't get the treasure I want under the sea, I'd get everything above it. And anyone who takes my treasure will die, Buggy proclaimed as he detached his upper body and started floating in the air. He then saw Nami and Naruto with treasure bags. Oh, look who it is, Naruto said. Buggy flew straight for them. Put my treasure down, Buggy ordered. Shit, he noticed us, Nami exclaimed. You can't fool me, Buggy said as he continued for them. Naruto just looked at him, prepared to attack him if he got too close. Aya! Nami screamed in peril. Buggy got close, but then stopped suddenly and had a ridiculous look on his face. Naruto looked over to Luffy and laughed as hard as he could. Luffy had kicked him right in the family jewels. D-damn Gomu Gomu, how dare he kick my balls? Buggy yelled in pain. Your opponent is still me. Luffy reminded him. Oi! Naruto, take Nami somewhere safer. Naruto nodded. He picked up Nami's treasure bag as well as his and placed Nami over his shoulder. Hey! Nami shouted. Sorry. Naruto apologized with a grin on his face as he fled the scene. Get back here! Buggy shouted. Bara Bara Festival. Buggy yelled as his entire body split into different sections and floated around crazily, following Naruto who was weighed down with all the treasure and Nami. Damn it, there should be a limit to this, Luffy said to himself, but then he noticed his feet were still on the ground. His feet can't fly. He asked himself. He reached down for them and caught them. Give me back my treasure. Buggy yelled as he was gaining on them. Don't do it, Naruto. Nami ordered him. Wasn't planning to. Naruto told her. Luffy pulled out his newly caught foot from its shoe and started tickling it, causing Buggy to laugh hysterically. Stop! Buggy shouted in between laughs. Luffy then slammed the toes into the ground. Stop you baka! He shouted as he turned back to Luffy. Buggy, Naruto said to him. Buggy turned around to be met by a kick to the face. Focus. Buggy was sent back to Luffy who grinned and kicked him into the ground, seemingly knocking him out. Thanks. Nami thanked both of them as she was being set back on the ground. No problem, Luffy replied. Luffy checked to see if Buggy has the Grand Line map on him. Naruto told Luffy. Luffy nodded and started to check Buggy. Aha! He yelled as he pulled out a map from Buggy's coat. I've got it. They all grinned at the good news. Come on, we have no reason to stick here, Naruto said as he turned around and started walking back to the docks. Hold on, Buggy said as he got back up. Geez, you're still alive? Luffy asked. I'll kill you once and for all. Body parts gather, Buggy shouted, preparing to kill Luffy. However, when his body parts came together, he only had his hands and feet. What? You wouldn't happen to be looking for these, would you? Nami asked triumphantly as he had his body parts tied up. Whoa, you're pretty fast, Naruto told her. Aya, my body parts, Buggy yelled. A thief has got some cool skills. Shishishi. Luffy laughed as he sent his arms back. Get lost, Buggy. And no, stop, Buggy pleaded as Luffy launched his arms forward. Gomu Gomu no bazooka, Luffy yelled as he slammed his hands into Buggy open-palmed, sending Buggy flying. Nice one, Naruto said as he watched Buggy fly away into the horizon. Victory. Now you're gonna become my crew member, right? Luffy asked Nami. I'm just cooperating with you. I'll go along with you for now cause it seems like I'll be able to earn a lot from you guys. Nami corrected. Luffy nodded as he rested his hands on his hat and pulled it in front of him, taking a look at the 3 cuts it sustained from the fight. That hat, is it that precious to you? Nami asked. Yay, but it's alright. I feel better now that I've beaten Buggy, he replied as he walked over to Zoro. Oi Zoro. Get up, we're going. Zoro got up, still tired. Did you finish the fight? Zoro asked groggily. Yay, we also got the map and the treasure, Luffy told him. Ah, I don't think I can walk yet, Zoro told them while holding his head. I've got ya. Naruto sighed as he lifted Zoro on his shoulder. I'll go wake up the mayor, Luffy told them as he went over to the unconscious mayor. Hey, they heard someone say behind them. It was a large group of people. We're the people of this village. Did the pirates start a fight among themselves? If you know anything, could you please tell us? I think that there are some more of the pirate crew still here. Other than that, there isn't much to tell you, Nami informed them. Ah, mayor. They all noticed their unconscious mayor and ran to pick him up. Goodness, what happened here? It must have been the work of those pirates. Sorry I did that to the mayor, Luffy confessed, getting dark looks from the villagers. Why would you say that? Nami yelled. 'Cause I did it, Luffy replied simply, unable to lie. How dare you do this to the mayor? It doesn't matter what kind of excuse you give us. Who the hell are you? Are you pirates? We are pirates, Luffy answered them. Ha ha ha. Zoro and Naruto laughed at the outcome of the conversation. Damn it Luffy, why did you say that? Nami couldn't believe Luffy. "'Cause it's the truth." Luffy turned to her. "Get them." The villagers shouted, starting the chase. The Straw Hat Pirates were running away from a bunch of weak villagers. What a sight. "Why did you say that? You made the situation more complicated," Nami asked. "This is a good village," Luffy replied simply. Nami didn't understand. For their mayor, for just one reason, they all got mad. "No matter what we say they'll still be mad," Luffy told her. "They're going through the alley," the villagers shouted as the Straw Hat crew turned into an alley. The villagers were about to go through until Chow Chow stopped them. "Chow Chow," Nami exclaimed. "That dog," Luffy exclaimed. "Chow Chow, move out of the way, those guys are bad pirates," the villagers asked. "Why are you stopping us, Chow Chow? Move now." Chow Chow was able to hold off the villagers enough for the crew to get to the docks without being stopped. "Phew. Thanks to Chow Chow we were able to get away, I was almost worried." "Who cares what they think? We did what we came to do," Luffy said. "Is this your boat?" "So cool," Luffy exclaimed as he saw a boat that was much bigger than the boat that he, Naruto and Zoro were traveling in. "No, I just stole it from a bunch of pirates," Nami replied. "We've been waiting for you, thief," some pirates said as they arose from the boat. "We knew you'd come back if you stayed here. I never dreamed we would have seen this boat again in the very same harbor." "You can't possibly say you've forgotten us. You know them?" Luffy asked. "Sort of," Nami replied. "Sort of. We have a long history. You got a gang now. Guess I'll have to teach you all a lesson." He was about to jump off the ship. "Do you want me to go through with my threat?" Naruto asked. The pirates noticed the blonde boy now. No sir," they answered. "Get off the ship and leave," Naruto told them without room for argue. They all ran off crying. "Geez, what kind of threat did you give them?" Nami asked. "Nothing much," Naruto grinned. They all got on their respective ship and set the sail. "Let's go," Luffy told them. "Hey, that has the Buggy mark on it." Luffy noticed. "Of course, I took it from Buggy Pirates. I'll erase it later," Nami responded. They started to sail away. "Stop right there." They turned to see the mayor panting at the edge of the dock. The crew expected him to give them a lecture, but instead, "I'm sorry. I owe you." "Shishishi. Don't worry. Just live good lives," Luffy replied happily. After the crew were a few miles away from the island, Nami noticed something. "Hey Naruto, where's the rest of the treasure?" Nami asked. "Luffy told me to leave my bag at the docks," Naruto answered. "What? You left the treasure behind?" Nami started taking her anger out on Luffy. "Yeah, but since the town was destroyed they're gonna need some money to pay for repairs," Luffy explained. Nami started trying to push Luffy into the sea. Don't do that. "I can't swim. I'll die." "That's why I'm doing it." "Don't do it again," Nami commanded. "You're mean," Luffy pouted. "Well, I guess I won't fix your hat then, will I?" Nami teased. "What? You can fix my hat?" Luffy questioned. Nami nodded. "Please, please, please, please. Maybe I will, maybe I won't." Nami continued to tease. Luffy kept on pleading. "Ha ha ha ha." Naruto laughed at Luffy's misfortune. "I wonder how long it is until we get to the next island. I hope I get to fight someone stronger than Buggy," Naruto thought to himself, excited about the next island. The Straw Hat Pirates were sailing peacefully across the seas. Luffy was happily holding his straw hat, which had been mended by Nami. "We need to plan better," Nami stated out of the blue. Luffy raised an eyebrow. "What did you mean?" Luffy asked. "We're going to go to the Grand Line. This boat isn't going to last a day in those seas. We need a better ship, plus you guys don't have any food or water." "You really underestimated these seas," Nami informed them. "We knew that we would have to get a bigger ship, but right now we don't have the finances to get a good quality ship," Naruto told their navigator. "What are you talking about? Nami still has her money from the town we were at before," Luffy said. "I know, but she probably won't be giving that up," Naruto replied. "You know me better than I thought," Nami smirked. "Not that hard to figure out. Naruto muttered to himself. Anyway, according to the map there should be an island north of here, hopefully we'll be able to get a ship and some supplies there. Nami said. With that the crew go to work on rowing to the island with Nami keeping them on course. Wow, you actually got us here, Luffy exclaimed as stood firmly on the ground. Of course, we followed the map. And you also have me as a navigator, Nami replied. You think pretty highly of your navigating skills, Naruto commented. Do you know anyone better than me? Nami asked, already knowing the answer. Can't say I do, Naruto smirked. It feels so good to be on the ground again, Zoro exclaimed as he stretched out his tired muscles. By the way, what's up with that guy? Naruto pointed to a man standing proudly on the top of a cliffside. He had curly black hair, a comically long nose, brown overalls with a white sash, a white and blue striped armband and a yellow satchel. I am the great pirate Captain Usopp. I'm in charge of the security of this town. You all best turn back now. The now identified Usopp yelled in an attempt to scare away the pirates. This guy is terrible at lying, Naruto commented. Zoro raised an eyebrow. How can you tell? I think he could be serious, Zoro told him. You better turn back or else you'll have to deal with my 80 million ruthless men, Usopp shouted. I take that back, Zoro told Naruto. Shishishi, you're funny, Luffy laughed at the liar. Gee, take that back, Usopp shouted at the straw hat wearing pirate. Do you want me to tell you how I know you're lying? Naruto asked. How? Usopp asked. You just told me, Naruto said with a smirk on his face. Nami giggled at how easy it had been for Naruto to trick the liar. Ah, I've been figured out, Usopp yelled in peril. Look, you don't have to worry. We're just here to get a new ship and some stock up on food and water. Nami calmed down Usopp. Oh, okay, well if you want you can come to the cafe with me. Usopp guided them to the village. Cafe. Usopp, I have a question, Naruto told the liar. Go ahead, Usopp said in between bites of his meal. Why did you let us in so quickly? I mean, for all you know we could have just lied about being here for a ship, Naruto asked. What? Usopp exclaimed. Relax, we aren't here for that. I'm just asking why you let us in so quickly. You shouldn't accept people so willingly, especially when you're protecting something, Naruto advised. That's true, Zoro pointed out. Well, pirates are brave warriors of the sea. I can't help but like them, Usopp explained. I've also got a question for you, Naruto. Fire away, Naruto accepted. How did you see through my lie so easily? Usopp asked. Well, it was a terrible lie, but I was raised in a community that promoted deception and lies. I grew up around lies. I had to learn at a young age to be able to see through lies and how to lie. Hell, there was even a school that I grew up around that taught you how to lie, Naruto answered. Wait. There's a school that teaches you to lie? Nami asked. Naruto nodded. Yep, it also taught you how to kill and other skills, Naruto replied. Zoro looked over to Luffy and was surprised that he didn't seem the least bit interested by the conversation. Little did he know, Luffy already knew all of this. You said you grew up around it. Why didn't you go there? Nami asked. They never let me join, Naruto replied softly as he looked to the ground, bringing up bad memories of rejection from people that were meant to nurture him to be great. So how are you able to do all of these amazing abilities? Nami asked. I guess genetics are a part of it, my Akuma no Mi and something else. Naruto added the last part silently to himself. But Zoro was able to hear, deciding to talk to him about it later. Akuma no Mi, I thought they were just myths, Usopp exclaimed. You never told us you had an Akuma no Mi ability, Nami told him. Naruto shrugged. It never came up. I ate the Tama no Mi one. It basically allows me to create a physical manifestation of my energy outside of my body. It can be as big as a small ball of energy, and if I try hard enough I might be able to create a clone of myself. I can also allow my energy to flow throughout my body, making it stronger or more concentrated in a particular area, allowing me to run faster, hit harder, walk on water and walk up vertical surfaces. Naruto explained his ability. Walk on water. That's an amazing advantage that you have. especially for an Akuma no Mi user. Nami informed him. Yay, I know. Let's get back to the topic. Usopp, where can we find a ship? Naruto asked, trying to get back on topic. Oh, the only place you can get that is at the mansion not far from town. However, the owner is a young girl, who's constantly sick. Usopp informed them. Why is she in charge? Zoro asked. Her parents passed away around a year ago due to sickness. After that she shortly fell to illness and has been struggling ever since. Usopp answered. Okay, let's go ask for a ship, Naruto said as he started to get up. What are you doing? I just told you how sick she is. Usopp yelled as he gripped his collar. Usopp, we need a ship, and according to you she is the only one that can give us a ship. Usopp, we need to ask her. Just because she's sick doesn't mean we can't have a request, Naruto said. Outside the cafe, 3 kids were hanging out around the entrance, somewhat tense as if they were ready to charge in at any second. Hey Tomenagi, did you really see them in here? A kid asked. Of course I did, P-man. I saw the captain lead them in here. Tomenagi replied. Are you sure we should be doing this? They're real pirates, they're savages. They've probably eaten him by now. Another kid said. Are you for real, Ninjin? We, as Usopp pirates, have a responsibility to fight for our captain. This will be the toughest fight that we have ever fought, P-man told them. Charge. They all yelled as they charged into the cafe, brandishing their wooden play swords. Who are they? Luffy asked. Hey, the sea captain isn't here. Pirates, what have you done to captain? The kids asked. Ah, what a great meal, Luffy exclaimed as he patted his belly. What? The kids murmured. Zoro noted their timidness. That's right, your captain, we ate him, he yelled, intimidating them significantly. Onababa, the kids shouted and pointed at Nami. Ha 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 ha, Naruto laughed hard at the kids. Why are you pointing at me? Nami shouted. See, calm down, if your captain is Usopp then he just left, he said, it's that time again. Naruto told them as he calmed down from his laughing. Oh, he must have gone to the mansion. The kids reasoned. Why did he go there? Luffy asked. To tell lies, the kids responded. Isn't that a bad thing? Luffy asked. No, he makes up stories to cheer up the sick girl. The kids defended their captain. Mansion. So which adventure are you going to tell me today? Asked a young girl who peeked out the window to Usopp was lying against a branch that reached up to the girl's window. Today I'll tell you about the time when I was 5 and fought the southern giant goldfish. The most amazing thing was its poo. It was very long and very wide. I even docked there because I thought it was an island. Usopp lied, to which the girl giggled to herself. What happened to the goldfish? She asked. Well, then I sliced it up and took it to the country of dwarves. To this day they still haven't been able to eat all of it. And because of my bravery they call me, Usopp stated. Captain Usopp. A voice interrupted from inside the girl's room. The girl turned around to see Naruto leaning comfortably against her wall. Naruto, Usopp exclaimed. The sick girl started to get worried. She knew that because of her status people would try and steal her precious items and possibly kill her. Naruto picked up on her worry quite easily. Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt you. Naruto eased her from her worries. What's your name? Kaya, the girl answered. Naruto nodded. Are the others here? Usopp asked. They're coming, Naruto replied. Anyway, Usopp, your story has inspired me. Can I tell my story? Sure, Usopp replied. Naruto sat down at the end of Kaya's bed and started to tell his story. Thousands of years ago, there was a monster called Shinju, or to the common folk, Jubi. Naruto started. Why was it called that? Kaya asked. Because of its 10 destructive tails that swang behind it. Each one of the tails was able to destroy an entire island easily, Naruto answered, taking in both of the people's gaping expressions. Now there's something you should know about the monster. It was stronger than anything you could imagine. Not even the entire Marine Army and the world government could even hope to fight the monster for more than 10 minutes. Wow, it must have been strong, Usopp exclaimed. It was, Naruto confirmed. In fact, it was so strong that humans started to fear it, even though Shinju never went out of its way to cause harm to humans. Because of its power, the humans tried to capture it, in an attempt to use its power for their own selfish purposes. Shinju, of course, was against this and defeated all of the attackers easily. The beast forgave them, but after the 5th time he had had enough. Shinju became a monster of destruction. It traveled the globe, destroying every village that it saw. And because of its amazing speed and size, no one knew where or when it would attack. The entire world was engulfed in fear. That must have been scary, Kaya commented. Naruto nodded. This continued for a number of years. Until a boy was born. This boy was born with abilities that caused people to call him a demon for all of his years. He was born with the ability to control the elements. He knew from the age of 12 that he was the only one who could even hope to defeat the Jubi. He trained all his life, until he was sure he was ready to fight Shinju. He was around his mid-30s when he decided that he was ready to fight the beast. Their fight carried on for days, weeks even. Neither one of them would let the other gain the upper hand. Naruto explained to them. Wow, it must have been a pretty intense fight. Usopp yelled. Naruto nodded in agreement. Their fight continued, until Shinju, Naruto was about to continue the tale. Usopp. They all turned their heads towards the sound of the voice. The voice came from Luffy, with his crew and the kids behind him. Oh, guess I'll have to finish the story some other time. Naruto said, to which Kaya pouted slightly. What are you guys doing here? Usopp shouted. Are they the others you were talking about, Usopp? Kaya asked. Before Usopp was able to respond, Luffy got right to business. Ajo-sama, I have a request, Luffy exclaimed. A request? Kaya repeated. Yeah, we need a ship. Luffy told her his request. Who are you? What are you doing here? Yelled yet another voice. The group turned to see a slim man wearing a black suit with 2 golden markings and a white dress shirt underneath. He had a black tie and glasses. Klahadore, Kaya whispered. Damn, it's the butler. Usopp gritted his teeth. Who's that guy? Luffy pondered. Klahadore, listen, these people, Kaya started. You don't have to explain, I'll ask later. Now leave the property immediately. He demanded. But we need a ship. Luffy explained. Never, Klahadore stated simply, then turned his eyes to Usopp, who was attempted to sneak out. You're Usopp-kun. Why yes. Usopp replied, frightened. I've heard some rumors about you from the villagers. The butler stated. Oh, of course, I'm quite famous around here. Usopp shouted, trying his best to keep up a confident facade. The guards said that you were lurking around here. What do you want? He asked. There was a huge mole that was seen around here. I wanted to see it for myself. Usopp lied. I've also heard about your father. Klahadore stated, causing Usopp to fall silent. Considering that fact, it's not surprising you turned out the way you did. Being the son of a filthy pirate. Filthy, Usopp said, glaring at the butler with uncontrollable rage. What do you want from Ajo-sama? Is it money? Klahadore asked. Klahadore, you've done enough, Kaya shouted, pleading to Klahadore to stop. I feel sorry for you. Klahadore ignored Kaya. You must hate your father. After all, he is a dumb treasure hunter who deserted his family and village. Don't you dare say another bad thing about my father. Usopp shouted violently. Why are you so angry? Just make up another one of your lies. Just say that you're really the son of a traveling merchant or something. Or that you and him aren't blood related. Plus, he's probably got a child on every other island. The butler continued to anger Usopp. Shut up, Usopp shouted as he threw his fist into the butler's face. Luffy, Zoro and Naruto sent Usopp approving glances. See, so violent. Father, like son, shut up. I'm proud that my father was a pirate. He was a brave warrior of the sea. You're right that I'm a liar. But I would never lie about something like that. I am the son of a pirate. Usopp shouted. Oh, now I remember. Luffy stated. You say that pirates are brave warriors of the sea. It's only because you have that savage bloodline that you think of them like that. Klahadore started to get back on his feet. What the hell are you talking about? Usopp shouted. No matter what your motive is, I will never allow you to be close to Ajo-sama. Being the son of a pirate is more than enough reason to kick you out now. The butler yelled. Usopp gripped Klahadore's collar. Say that again. Usopp yelled in a threatening tone. Please Usopp, don't resort to violence. Kaya pleaded. Klahadore isn't a bad person, he's just concerned about my safety. Klahadore slapped Usopp's hand away from his body. Get the hell out of here. I'll let you off with a warning, but next time if you even think of doing something like this, the butler began to threaten. Shut up, Naruto and Luffy told him at the same time. It was at this time that the butler was able to fully recognize the two. He was also able to recognize Naruto sitting on the same bed as Kaya. What are you doing? Klahadore shouted. I'm leaving, Usopp said. As he started to leave the mansion, I'll never come back again. Usopp, Kaya whispered, her eyes started to water. Bastard, Captain is a better person than you. Paimon screamed. Yeah, you're mean, Ninjin added. Baka, Tomonegi shouted. Yeah Baka, Luffy yelled as well. Why are you getting involved? Zoro raised an eyebrow. I'm gonna kill him, Luffy yelled as he and the kids attempted to rush at him. Hey, Zoro was able to get Luffy into a full Nelson hold, while Nami managed to contain the kids from running away. All of you get out of here now, Klahadore shouted, having just about enough of the nonsense. Fine, Luffy stated, having calmed down. Guys, let's go. With his command, the pirate crew walked angrily out of the compound. Except for Naruto, who was gone before Klahadore finished speaking. 10 minutes later, Kaya was sobbing quietly into her pillow with her knees curled up against her torso. Klahadore came in with a silver platter on his hand. Ajo-sama, I've brought you your lunch, he announced. Go away, I don't want lunch, I don't want to eat. Kaya shouted with as much force as her weak body could muster up. Don't say that, the chef spent a long time making this. He even made it so that it would benefit your health. Klahadore sighed. Why did you have to say that? Kaya asked, getting straight to the point of her misery. I know that I kept it from you, but you didn't have to yell at Usopp and his friends like that. Klahadore set down the platter on a small desk. May I sit down? He asked as he walked over to Kaya's bed. She nodded and he made himself comfortable on the edge of her bed. I've been working in the house, and for your family for 3 years now. I still remember how it came to be. He started to recollect his memories. I was working on a ship and because of one small mistake I was fired. I came upon this island and was sick, hungry and thirsty. Your parents took me in. And ever since then, I've been indebted to them to help them in any way that I can. I know that I shouldn't get involved with your friends. Klahadore started to cry, but I can't let anything bad happen to you. Usopp has a bad reputation in town, and if you were to get hurt, I understand, Klahadore. I know you were just trying to protect me, but Usopp isn't a bad person. Kaya forgave her butler. They continued to talk, the butler convincing her to eat her lunch. Little did they know that during all of this Naruto was perched on Kaya's windowsill at an angle that allowed him to remain hidden to the people inside. Fake. Everything he said. Fake. Naruto muttered as he jumped off the windowsill to find Luffy and the others. Town. Where's Luffy? Nami asked as she sat on a gate with the rest of the crew. I dunno, I saw him running after Usopp. Zoro answered. You know what this means. He must be there, Ninjin told them. Of course, the shore, whenever anything happens he goes there. Paimon explained. Are you going to check it out? Ninjin asked. Nah, he'll come back to us. Zoro answered. There was a gust of wind as something landed next to Nami on the gate. Hey, Naruto greeted, shocking Nami. How did you do that? Asked the shocked Nami. Magic, Naruto stated dismissively. Before Nami could get the chance to follow up on the topic, they heard a shriek come from their left. Wah, this is bad, really bad. A figure started running as fast as they could. Oh, it's Tomonegi, Paimon said, recognizing him. TT, there's a man walking backwards. Tomonegi exclaimed when he reached them. Liar, Paimon and Ninjin said together. It's true, look, there he is, Tomonegi proclaimed. The crew looked to where he was pointing and there was indeed a man, walking backwards. He continued to walk backwards until he was facing them. Who said I was weird? I'm perfectly normal, the man told them. No, you really aren't, Zoro told him after looking at his strange attire. He was wearing a long dark blue trench coat and a matching blue top hat, green-brown gloves and red lensed heart-shaped glasses. He had a black belt and black shoes with big white socks. Shut up, I'm just a passing hypnotist. He defended himself. A hypnotist? Tomonegi exclaimed. Can you show us some tricks? Ninjin asked. Yeah, Piemon exclaimed. Please, you can't appreciate hypnotism, therefore you don't deserve to be graced with the gift of watching Django perform. The newly identified Django chided them. Okay, now stare into this, he said as he pulled out a pendulum. You're showing them anyway? Naruto questioned. When I say 1, 2, Django, you'll all fall asleep, Django told them. 1, 2, Django. At his announcement not only the kids fell asleep, but he himself. What the hell? Nami thought. Sure. Usopp was staring off at the dock where the Straw Hat Pirates had anchored not long ago. Hey! Luffy swung down from the branch above the long-nosed sniper, hanging by his feet. It's you. Why are you here? Usopp exclaimed. Your dad's Usopp, right? Luffy asked as he jumped down. Ah, how do you know that? Usopp asked. Luffy sat himself down next to Usopp. I've known him since I was a kid. Luffy told him. Really? Usopp exclaimed. Yup, you look just like him too, no wonder I thought you looked similar. Luffy stated. Where is he now? Usopp asked. Dunno, but I'm pretty sure he's still on red-haired Shanks' ship. Usopp is one of my favorite pirates in that crew. Luffy answered. Red-haired Shanks, Usopp stated as he looked off blissfully at the sky, but then the thought came back to him. Red-haired Shanks. You know him? Luffy asked. Of course I do. He's one of the greatest pirates in the world. Usopp shouted. Is my dad really on that ship? Yeah, he's really good at shooting. He never missed a shot, Luffy explained. I can still remember when he shot an apple from 100 feet away. Really? Is that true? Usopp asked, joy growing in his eyes. Yeah, he was really popular too. Luffy told him. Usopp stood up and stared at the water below them. To tell you the truth, even though my dad left me for the thrill of the pirate's life, I've always been proud of him. Klahadore talked badly about him. My dad could take him out in a second. Usopp proclaimed. I don't like him at all. Luffy stated. Are you gonna go see Ajosama again? I dunno. Usopp sighed. Maybe if the butler apologizes to me. That butler? Luffy asked as he pointed down to the sand. Yeah, that boodle, what's he doing here? Usopp shouted. Down on the sand were Klahadore and the hypnotist Django. Usopp and Luffy both got on the ground in order to not get spotted. They were able to eavesdrop on their conversation. God damn it, Django. I told you not to attract any attention, yet I find you sleeping in the middle of the road. The butler exclaimed. Hey, there's nothing weird with that. Django argued. Who's the weird guy? Luffy asked. I dunno. I haven't seen him around here before. Usopp answered. Never mind that. Are you prepared? Klahadore asked. Of course. We can start operation. Assassinate Ajosama, any time. The hypnotist replied. Assassinate, was the thought that ran through both Usopp and Luffy's head. Don't call it that. Assassinate is such an ugly word. Klahadore told the hypnotist. An accident then. We'll call it an accident. Is that okay, Captain Kuro? Django asked. See, Captain Kuro. Usopp thought. Don't call me that. The unveiled Kuro commanded. I gave up that name 3 years ago. You're the captain now. Who's Captain Kuro? Luffy asked. He was a pirate known for his careful planning and ruthless tactics, but I heard he was caught 3 years ago and was executed. Usopp explained. Before this, when I worked for you, there were lots of benefits. That's the only reason I was with you, Django explained. I better get a good share. Yes, if you succeed you will get your share. The former pirate captain reassured. Good, you can leave the girl to me. The hypnotist said. No, killing her is not enough. You must hypnotize her into making her will to give all of her inheritance to me and then kill her, making it look like an accident. Kuro explained the plan. Why go through so much trouble? Django asked. Because this way I can openly accept the money. I've worked for 3 years on gaining the villagers' trust, and as to why I didn't just rob and kill her, it's because if I did so the Marines would still be chasing me. This plan will let me keep the money and live a peaceful life. The strategist explained his plan. Whatever, Django shrugged, not seeing the point in waiting. You're going to have to initiate the plan soon. They can't wait much longer. Hey you two, don't you dare attack Ajo-sama. Luffy yelled from the cliffside, gaining their attention. Kuro looked up in their direction. Baka, get down. Usopp attempted to pull Luffy down but to no avail. Usopp, Kuro noted. Ah, Usopp shrieked. Did you hear anything? The strategist asked in a threatening manner. Nope, not at all. Usopp tried to convince. We heard everything, Luffy shouted. Everything you say? Well, take a look at this pendulum, Django told them as he pulled out his pendulum. When I say, 1, 2, Django, you will fall asleep. Really? Luffy asked, somewhat excited about being hypnotized, while Usopp jumped back and hid in the bushes. 1, 2, Django. With that Luffy, of course, fell asleep and so did Django. You haven't gotten rid of that old habit, have you? Kuro said to himself, as he made sure that his hypnotist didn't hit the ground. Luffy's body started to sway and then fell completely off the edge, hitting his head on the hard ground. Damn, I didn't want to kill him, Django said to himself. He looked up to see Usopp looking at Luffy's body in horror. Should I kill him? You don't need to. Nobody will believe what he says, Kuro replied. Tomorrow you shall carry through with the plan, take the crew and attack the village. Destroy some houses and make it look like an average pirate raid, then kill Kaya. You hear that, Usopp? Nothing you say will affect my plan. You bastard, Usopp shouted as he ran back to the town. This is bad. Really, really bad. He soon rushed past the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates and the kids. Ah, it's the captain, the kids said in unison. Wasn't Luffy with him? Zoro asked. Is he angry because of the butler? Is he going to talk to him? Nami said her thoughts. No, Naruto concluded. Did you see his expression? It wasn't that of anger. He was shocked, in fear, and scared. Something must have gone down at the shore. Yeah, didn't the hypnotist go down the way Captain just came from? P-man noted. Oi, kids, how do I get to the shore? Zoro asked. We'll take you, Ninjin told him. Back with Usopp, he had just reached the town. Pirates, they're here. They're gonna attack tomorrow, Usopp warned. Usopp, shut your mouth, one of the villagers said as they progressively opened their doors holding shovels and brooms. We're gonna teach you a lesson, another one said. No, it's the truth this time. Usopp pleaded for them to listen. You say the same thing every time, a villager yelled. You're taking advantage of us all, another one agreed. I know, I was joking all the other times. But this time I'm serious, Usopp told them. If you were an honest man like Klahadore, I might have believed you. An elderly woman noted. Be bastard, Usopp cursed under his breath. Please believe me this once. Pirates are coming. Just leave. They continued shouting curses at him. Please, just believe me this once. Usopp continued to plead with them. Only an idiot would fall for that crap again. They started to charge at Usopp. Fine, Usopp yelled as he fled the town. If they aren't gonna trust me, then I'm just gonna have to handle the pirates myself. Usopp thought. Sure, Kaya's gonna die, the kids yelled in shock. Yep, that's what the guy said. Luffy confirmed. Why are you sleeping here? Nami asked. I was on top of the cliff and then. I dunno, Luffy recounted. I knew the butler was a bad person. P-man stated. Yeah, he gave me the creeps. Ninjin agreed. The hypnotist must have been bad as well. Tomonegi noted. Well, you guys are lucky. You're the first to know. You should pack your bags and run while you still can. Nami told them. Oh no, Luffy yelled. What is it? Zoro asked. We haven't bought our meat yet. The butcher will be scared off. Luffy shouted in dismay. You're in luck, Luffy, Naruto told him. Nobody is going to run away or be scared off. Why is that? Zoro asked. Have you heard about Usopp's reputation? Naruto asked. No, he replied. It's not a good one. Naruto answered. It's like the boy who cried wolf. He's known as a liar, and so I don't think anyone would believe him, especially on something as big as this. Damn, that's not good, Nami stated. Mansion. Kaya was in her room reading when she heard a knock on her window. She turned and beamed when she saw that it was Usopp. Usopp, I was worried that you wouldn't come back. Kaya beamed. Kaya, hurry, you have to escape. You're gonna die, Usopp yelled. What? Kaya asked. The butler lied to you. He's actually a pirate, Usopp informed her. Wait a minute, are you saying Klahadore is a pirate? She asked, not sure of herself. It's true. I overheard a conversation with him and a hypnotist at the shore. Usopp explained, he came to work for your family because of your family's wealth. What are you talking about? Kaya asked, worry clear on her face. Tomorrow, him and his crew are gonna attack the village and then he's gonna kill you. If you don't leave now it'll be too late. Usopp shouted. I was wrong about you. Kaya shouted. What? Usopp asked. I can't believe you're doing this to get revenge on Klahadore, Kaya said, tears starting to form. I know he was a bit harsh on you, but how can you make up lies like this? It's not like that. Usopp tried to assure. I used to like your lies, they were fun. But now you're using them for revenge. Kaya yelled. I'm telling the truth. Usopp pleaded. You're a horrible person, Kaya shouted. Please listen to me. Usopp was going to say more but was caught by two guards. Ajo-sama, are you alright? One of them asked, but before she could answer Usopp bit one of their hands causing him to let go, little brat. Before the other one could react Usopp pulled out his slingshot and shot him in the eye, and the other one in the torso. Kaya, please listen to me, you have to come with me. Usopp told her again. Why you have to be lying? Kaya was in tears. Fine, I'll have to take you myself. Usopp grabbed her wrist, to which he got a hard slap across his cheek from the girl he was trying to save. Look at you, how could I believe you? Kaya shouted. They heard a gun beside her. It was the other butler with the head that resembled a lamb. Get out, I'll shoot, he said as he pointed the gun at Usopp. No, don't, Kaya yelled, but it was too late, the butler had shot the gun. Luckily Usopp had gotten away just in time for it to only graze his arm. Usopp had fled the mansion, with the mob of villagers still on his tail. He's over that way, the butler pointed in the direction of Usopp. Usopp kept running as fast as he could, but unfortunately he didn't have enough stamina, and he stopped shortly after, leaning onto one of the many gates that outlined the roads. He turned back and saw the mob continuing to follow him. Shit, he cursed. Just before they were able to reach him, he felt someone pick him and throw him over their shoulder. Sup, Naruto greeted, and ran off with the long-nosed man on his shoulder. He ran much faster than Usopp even though he was weighed down. They soon outran the villagers and lost sight of them. Naruto set Usopp down on the road. What are you doing here? Usopp yelled, still angry about what happened at the mansion. I knew that the villagers wouldn't believe you. I had to get you before you got seriously hurt. Naruto looked down at the long graze on the sharpshooter's left arm. Looks like I could have been a bit faster. Why won't they believe me? Usopp shouted to no one. You can't blame them for not believing. You do this every day. They think it's another lie. On top of that, you probably said that the butler was a pirate, which they would never believe. Naruto explained as he leaned back against the gate. Usopp sighed, trying to fight back tears. Captain. They turned to see the crew walking towards them. Usopp quickly stood up and hid his left arm from view. Hey everybody, he greeted, still trying to keep himself from crying. He then saw Luffy. How can you still be alive? Still alive, I just woke up, Luffy stated. Captain, we've heard the news about the pirates. We need to warn everyone. Paimon stated. Warn? Usopp asked. Mwahahahaha. What pirates? Usopp started laughing. It was a lie. Just like all the other times. I was just taking my revenge on the butler. Captain, you shouldn't make up lies like that. Ninjin shouted. Yeah, I feel the same way. Paimon agreed. No matter what the butler said, the captain I knew would never do that. Tomonegi stated. Let's go home guys, I don't want to be around captain right now. Paimon said, and with that, they left their captain. Was it really a lie? Zoro asked. No, Usopp sighed. I just don't want them to get hurt. They're just kids. Come on, we should go discuss it at the shore. Sure, because I used to lie all the time, nobody believes me. Even so, the fact remains that the pirates are going to attack tomorrow morning. The villagers will just think of it as a normal boring day, Usopp said as he stood up on the sand facing the crew, since everyone thinks I'm a liar. I'll protect this town myself and stop the pirates attacking. At the end of the day this will come off as one of my lies. Even if they shot at me and chased me with broomsticks. I love this town. I can't watch them die. You're a pretty good guy, you know. Lying to make sure that your crew doesn't get hurt. Zoro commented. I'm gonna beat them up. Luffy stated confidently. Remember, the treasure's mine. Nami told them. I hope they're strong. Naruto said. Why you guys are willing to fight with me? Usopp asked. Why? You're outnumbered. Luffy stated. You don't look very strong. Zoro told him blatantly. Fun. Naruto smirked. Baka, I don't need help. I don't care if they outnumber me. I can take them all on. Usopp declared. He would have looked fine if he didn't have constantly shaking legs. Ah. Stop shaking. He continued to hit his legs in an attempt to stop shaking. He eventually stopped and looked up. Of course I'm scared. It's Captain Kuro's crew. I don't need any sympathy. We aren't sympathizing with you, Zoro told him. We're just commending you on wanting to protect your hometown. Why else would you risk our lives? Luffy asked. Fine, Usopp sighed, happy that he would be getting support. They're gonna attack from the shore since that's the only way to enter the town. But there's only one path and everything surrounding it are cliffs. So as long as we guard this slope the town won't be harmed. Easy. Luffy grinned. Easier said than done, Usopp muttered. What are you guys good at? Cutting. Zoro replied. Stretching. Luffy answered happily. Stealing. Nami replied. Fighting. Naruto smirked. Hiding. Usopp answered his own question. You have to fight too. The crew yelled in unison. Mansion. Where's Ajo-sama? The disguised pirate asked to his so-called colleague Mary. She's asleep. She was very tired after everything that happened today. Mary replied. I can't believe everything that's happened while I was gone. Usopp is quite a troublemaker. The now Klahadore stated. Yes, I can't believe he would say that you're a pirate. It's not even a good lie. Mary chuckled. Yes, Kuro smirked evilly. Anyone who would believe that is a baka. He walked over to the table and saw there was a package with his name on it. What's this? Oh, that. It's a present from Ajo-sama. She said it's because tomorrow it will be exactly 3 years since you came to work here. Mary explained. Anniversary, Klahadore stated. Yes, it will be your 3-year anniversary. Because your glasses always slip off, Ajo-sama personally went to the next town and ordered them despite her illness. Mary started crying comically. She's just so nice and caring. She calls it an anniversary. Tomorrow is a very special day. Klahadore put on the new glasses and dropped the packaging. Tonight's moon, it's crescent. I always get excited on nights like these. He then took off his glasses, threw them on the floor and stomped on them. Why did you do that? Mary shouted. Ajo-sama went through so much trouble to get you that. I will decide my presents. And I don't want small presents, I want everything in this house. Klahadore was starting to change into Kuro. What? Mary gasped. There's no need to act like this. In just a couple of hours this town will be overtaken by pirates. Kuro said as he started to walk towards Mary. Oh, Ajo-sama, run, Mary warned, but it was too late. Soon, he was face down in his own blood. Ha ha ha, tomorrow will be a good day. Kuro laughed manically. Sure, done, Luffy declared as he looked down at the work that the crew had done. They had poured a massive amount of oil onto the slope going up to the town so that when the pirates come they'll just slip down. The bastards won't be able to get up the slope now. Usopp proclaimed, this is the most effective way to fight them. Just don't fall down there yourself or you're screwed. Nami warned. Don't worry, I have a lot of confidence in the plan. Usopp assured her. The sun started to come up, the pirates should be here soon. They were all ready for the fight. That was until half an hour passed and they were wondering where the pirates were. Why aren't they here? It's morning already, Luffy whined. You don't suppose they slept in? Zoro asked. Am I just overly sensitive or can anyone else hear someone shouting, go, north of here? Nami asked. The north, Usopp shouted. I'm positive, Nami told him. What's wrong? Zoro asked. There's a path to the town up north but, Usopp started to explain. Don't tell me you got it wrong. Luffy shouted. They talked about the plan here so I thought they would attack from this way. Usopp explained. How far away is it? Luffy asked. It'll take about 3 minutes. The landscape is basically the same as this. Usopp replied. I'll get there in 20 seconds. Luffy sped off. Damn it, Nami yelled when she realized that their boats were docked there and that they were likely to get robbed. In her anger she placed one of her feet on the oil. She grabbed out to something that she could hold, this happening to be Zoro's shirt. What? Zoro gasped. Sorry. Nami apologized. She used his body to push herself up. Ha 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 ha. Naruto laughed at the predicament Zoro was in. Nami, I'm gonna kill you. Zoro shouted. Usopp. Nami, grab on, Naruto said, putting Usopp on his back and Nami in his arms, to which she blushed slightly. Usopp, you're gonna direct me to where the North Shore is. Okay, just keep going straight until you reach the steep incline, then all you have to do is turn right and go for about 50 meters and then you're at the shore. Usopp directed. Naruto grinned and sped off. He was going way faster than Luffy, who had taken off before them, and within seconds they had reached the incline that Usopp was talking about. Soon they were at the shore. They saw the pirates charging up the slope. Back off, Naruto shouted as he kicked them all down. He set Nami and Usopp on the ground next to him. Who is that guy? Django asked to himself from the bottom of the shore. I'm Captain Usopp. Usopp started his introduction. I've been waiting for you. If you don't want to die, then retreat now. You're the one who overheard our conversation. What do you want? Django asked, not fazed by him. I'm warning you. Retreat now. I've got 100 million men ready to destroy all of you. Usopp lied. Only a baka would fall for a lie like that. The pirates started murmuring. What? 100 million? Django gasped in shock. Captain, he's lying. The crew calmed him down. What? How dare you lie to me? Django shouted up at the sniper. Shit, what do I do? Usopp asked himself. I've got this, Naruto said. He looked towards their boats and saw the pirates taking some of their treasure. Let me just handle this first. What? Usopp asked. Naruto seemingly vanished and reappeared in front of the pirates walking out of their boats. He punched them all in the gut, winding them, and took the bags of treasure and placed them at the top of the slope. He then stood up and looked over all the pirates below him. I haven't tried it on multiple people before, but I guess I can start now. Naruto thought as his eyes started to turn red with a slit in them. All of you, he said, gaining attention, Akuma no Yuru. All of the pirates were staring at Naruto, shaking in fear of what they were witnessing. To them everything was burning, the sky was red, the water was red, and all of the other pirates were monsters based on their fears. And the boy at the top of the hill started morphing into a blood-red demon with 4 swishing tails. Naruto clutched his eyes, unable to hold the technique on multiple people for very long. I need to work on that, it took up way too much energy. Naruto thought. Naruto, what was that? Nami asked. A technique I've been working on, it's still in progress. Naruto answered as his eyes returned to their normal blue color. What the hell was that? Django shouted after regaining his ability to speak. Never mind. When I say 1, 2, Django, you will fall asleep. Django pulled out his pendulum. 1, Naruto snatched the pendulum and crushed it. No, Naruto replied and jumped back up to the top of the slope. How are you so fast? Usopp asked. How are you so slow? Naruto retorted. Naruto, go down there and fight them all. We'll back you up, Nami ordered. Before Naruto could reply, all of the pirates started running up. Charge! Destroy the town! The pirates shouted. They're coming, Nami yelled. I've got these spikes. Usopp fumbled around in his pockets and pulled out some spikes. Quick, throw them down, Nami shouted as she and Usopp threw down the spikes while Naruto watched in amusement. The pirates, who were too stupid to tell, ran straight into the spikes. They were soon on the ground screaming in pain. Ouch! They were shouting. Now for my special attack, Namaribashi. Usopp pulled back his slingshot and shot one of the pirates in the eye. Oh no, Nami shouted. What? Usopp asked. The spikes are behind us as well, Nami informed. You threw those ones, Usopp yelled angrily. You're blocking our way, die. A pirate came up to Usopp while they were arguing and attempted to swing his club down on Usopp's head. But just before it managed to hit his head, Naruto came in and kicked him out of the way. Usopp, focus. Naruto shouted. Right, Usopp said. You're the one who should focus. More pirates came up to Naruto and soon he was in a fight with all of them. Naruto was weaving around all of the pirates' attempts to attack him. This is as good a time as ever to try it out. Naruto thought as he jumped up as far as he could. Where'd he go? The pirates started asking. Naruto then came crashing down and slammed his leg down as hard as he could, creating a crater in the process and sending the pirates in any direction. Akuma Supapindorapukira. 2. Naruto shouted. Ah! Nami and Usopp screamed, holding on to each other trying not to get sent flying from the shockwave. Who are these guys? Django asked himself. He too was sent into the water. Naruto. So cool. A voice came from the top of the slop. Naruto turned around and saw Luffy and Zoro. What took you guys so long? Naruto asked. Usopp, you didn't tell me what way north is. Luffy accused. Nami, I'm gonna kill you. Zoro shouted angrily. Why your SS so strong? Usopp stated, amazed at what Naruto was able to do. Why are you so late? Nami asked rudely. It was your fault. You pushed me down the slope. Zoro yelled back. I couldn't help it. Better one person than the both of us. Nami argued. Then you should have been the one to fall. Zoro shouted back. Men, you aren't down from a child, are you? Django shouted, trying to raise the morale of his crew. The crew struggled to stand. They're still alive, Naruto questioned. Since the opponent is strong, we must be stronger, Django told them as he pulled out another pendulum to replace the one Naruto crushed. When I say 1, 2, Django, you will all be strong and your wounds will heal. What's going on? Luffy asked. He's trying to use hypnotism to get the crew to believe that they're strong. Nami explained. Will it work? Zoro asked. Dunno. Nami replied. 1, 2, Django. And with those simple words, the entire crew got back on their feet howling with power, their wounds gone. The Straw Hat Pirates were shocked and surprised. No way, Nami shouted. Hey! In a test of strength one of the pirates punched the cliffside, making it fall down. How did they get so strong? Zoro shouted. Now go, kill them, Django ordered as the crew charged up the slope, faster and stronger than before. Oi, Nami and Usopp go up the slope, we'll handle this. Zoro commanded, to which they eagerly nodded. This'll be fun, Naruto stated. Hey Luffy, Zoro shouted, but Luffy simply stood there. Luffy. Yeah, Luffy shouted loudly, showing that he was hypnotized as well. What the hell? Zoro shouted. Why am I surprised? Naruto sighed. What the hell are these guys? Usopp asked. I dunno, Nami replied. Luffy charged straight at the pirates coming up the slope. Oi, Zoro tried to grab out to him, but Naruto stopped him. Don't worry, Luffy's got this, Naruto assured. Gomu Gomu no. Luffy started throwing punches at speeds so high that it seemed that he had grown hundreds of arms, Gatling. All of the pirates were punched back down to the shore by Luffy's powerful punches. But he didn't stop there. He continued running down to the pirate ship. He ran straight into the bow and gripped it tightly. What's he doing? Django asked. Arg, Luffy shouted as he pulled off the bow of the ship. He's destroying our ship, Django shouted in peril. Luffy pulled it down and was about to sweep the entire crew. Captain, help us, the crew pleaded. Thinking fast, Django pulled out his pendulum. When I say 1, 2, Django, you will fall asleep, Django announced. 1, 2, Django. As Luffy instantly fell asleep, losing power in his muscles, allowing the bow to completely overpower his body. The bow crushed Luffy and some of the pirates behind him. Turns out they aren't that strong, Naruto said. Damn kid, Django said as he looked at the damage Luffy caused. If Captain Kuro sees this he'll kill us. Is Luffy okay? Nami asked. Yeah, his head's getting squashed, Usopp pointed out. Don't worry, Luffy won't die from that, Zoro assured them. Hey Butchie, look, the ship's wrecked. A voice came from the ship. Wrecked? How? Another voice replied. That voice. A crew member mumbled. The ship's guards. Another crew member stated. Looks like something on that ship, Zoro stated, then immediately turned to Naruto. I'm fighting them. Fine, Naruto muttered. Oh yeah, we still have those two. Django stated. Hey, you'll all be killed. The crew mumbled in sync. Come down. Nyaban brothers. Django shouted. Hey, he's shouting for us. Someone on the ship stated. Why, they aren't even in the village yet. Another person replied. Look, everyone's been defeated, let's go check it out. The person said as they jumped down from the ship onto the shore. You're here, Django stated. You called for us, the man named Sham asked. He had a very slim figure and was hunched over. His green hair parted to the side and curled at the end. He was wearing a navy blue shirt, with light gray buttons and a magenta bow tie. He wore light blue shorts, brown shoes and white socks that stuck out. He had dark brown gloves, with claws growing out at the end. What's up? The man who stood next to him called Butchie asked. He was an overweight man with pale skin. He had abnormally sharp teeth, tiny eyes and wore a hat that covered his right eye that had cat ears on it. His pants were stripped black and white, he wore a yellow sash, and dark brown shoes. He also wore a blanket-looking cape on his back that was striped light purple and dark purple with a fluffy brim. He wore a shoulder pad on his left and pale blue glows with claws at the end. Who are they? Nami asked. They jumped from so high up. Usopp stated. They look weird. Zoro noted. Butchie, Sham, we couldn't pass due to these guys blocking our path. Go and destroy them, Django ordered. We can't, Sham argued. They look strong. Butchie shouted. What's going on? Aren't they strong? Usopp asked. They look scared, Nami pointed out. I don't know about them. Zoro stated. Zoro, don't underestimate them. Naruto reminded. Right, Zoro nodded. We're just the ship's guardsmen. Sham insisted. We don't want to fight in battles like these. Butchie agreed. Sham, go now, Django demanded. Why me? Sham shrieked like a harpy. Go, Django shouted. Fine, Sham yelled, almost in tears, prepare to die. Sham started running at Zoro waving his claws in the air, I'll shred you up. What can you do with those claws? Zoro asked. I'll kill you easily. Kill me Sham asked, all of his fear disappearing. What? Zoro shouted as Sham launched himself from his position to slam his claws into Zoro's sword. Fast, Zoro thought. You must be thinking I'm a coward, but to tell the truth I'm not scared at all. Sham revealed. He was acting. Usopp came to the conclusion. Zoro, your katanas, Nami shouted. Zoro tapped at his waist, where his swords were usually positioned, but he couldn't feel anything. Where did they go? Zoro questioned. You look like you have a few skills, but you underestimated me. Sham stated. Zoro's missing katanas strapped around his back. Cat burglar. Butchie stated. He stole my katana, how quick? Zoro thought. Give me back my katanas. Zoro ordered. Give them back. Don't you already have one? I think that's enough. Sham smirked. But before the fight I better get these out of the way. He grabbed the katanas and threw them down to the shore. Sham didn't notice this, but Zoro's eyes gleamed with rage. Okay, now that's better. Sham couldn't react fast enough as Zoro rushed at him with anger. Don't treat others' katanas with disrespect. Zoro shouted as he slashed at Sham's torso, nearly cutting him in half. Wow, how strong, Usopp exclaimed. Have to get to the katanas. Zoro exclaimed as he ran down to reach his precious katanas. Did you just cut me? Sham asked as he sat himself down on Zoro's back. Too bad for you. I've got a very thin waist. Instead of cutting him like Zoro thought, he just cut his shirt. Naruto reasoned. What? Zoro shouted in surprise. Butchie, go, Sham signaled. Okay, got it. Butchie shouted as Sham forced Zoro face first in the ground. Butchie jumped high above Zoro's head, cat the Fungita. The overweight man started falling down at high speeds. Zoro, Naruto, do something, Nami pleaded. Naruto just watched on, unwavering. Just before Butchie was able to slam down on Zoro's head, he managed to overpower the cat burglar on his back and roll out of the way. Butchie's powerful drop kick caused the ground to crack. The ground cracked. Usopp shouted, he must be strong. Damn, he got away, Sham shouted. You should hold him down better. Butchie told his partner. Yeah, he's just stronger than I thought. Sham replied. Zoro managed to find his footing again and stood up. These guys aren't a joke. If I get hit by the fat guy's attack, I'll be done for, even my bones will shatter. Zoro thought. You won't escape this time. Sham shouted threateningly. Yeah, Butchie agreed. I'm not used to using just one katana, but it'll have to do. Zoro thought. Die, Butchie shouted. Let's do it, Butchie. Sham yelled as they launched themselves at Zoro. Neko Yanagi Daikoshin. They yelled in unison and started waving their claws madly at Zoro, with him barely able to block them all. Zoro can't handle them. Nami shouted. I've got this. Usopp shouted as he pulled out his slingshot. If I can get one. Don't. Naruto said simply. What are you talking about? Zoro can't handle them. Usopp tried to reason with the blonde kid. Zoro said at the start that he was going to fight them. Naruto replied and sent them both a stare that kept them from doing anything else. If I only had another katana. Zoro thought as he continued to block the barrage of strikes from the Nyaban brothers. If this goes on, Zoro will run out of energy. If I get him his katanas, he'll win for sure. Nami reasoned as she started running down the slope, right towards the katanas. But just before she was able to get the swords, Django cut her shoulder deeply with his pendulum, causing her to crash into the sand. What did you think you're doing? He asked ominously. Sham and Butchie smirked as they continued their assault. Everything was going their way. But then they started shaking nervously. I can explain this. Django shuddered. The Nyaban brothers were too scared to move. Even the injured crew started shaking. Usopp turned around and gasped. For him to show up now. Usopp muttered. Naruto didn't have to turn around. He already knew what was there. Standing behind him was the frightening Captain Kuro. It's been a while since dawn. And I was wondering. Kuro looked over all of his men. What the hell happened? Captain. The crew started whispering. I didn't expect you to be held up by a bunch of kids. The Black Cat pirates have never been reduced to such a sad state. Isn't that right, Django? Kuro called for the hypnotist. But the day on the shore. Why you said we could let him go. Django replied. So what? He cannot affect our plans. I expected him to come here, but I didn't expect for your uselessness. I don't want any more excuses. Kuro shouted angrily. Useless? Sham asked. Don't look down on us, Captain. Butchie said. Indeed you were very powerful, but that's in the past. Sham flexed his muscles. What are you trying to say? Kuro asked. Butchie. Sham. Shut up. Django already knew where this was going. That was 3 years ago. While you've been living peacefully in that town. We've been perfecting our skills. Sham shouted. We've raided many villages, and sunk many ships. Butchie yelled. Mutiny. Usopp questioned. We won't allow ourselves to be killed because of a failed plan. Sham yelled, rage in his eyes. You still think you can beat us? The Nyaban brothers. After 3 years. Butchie screamed. That's true. The crew mumbled. If they both ganged up, they could beat Django. They continued mumbling. They are the strongest in the crew, that's a fact. They stated. Instead of being killed, we will kill. Sham rushed at his former captain. You're no longer our captain. Butchie followed. They slashed at what they thought to be Kuro, but it was just a duffel bag. Kuro appeared behind them, with his signature, cat claws, on his hands. Who did you say you were going to kill? Kuro asked. It's like yours, Naruto. Usopp noted. It's the creeping cat. The crew shrieked. What a weird weapon. Zoro observed. He's behind us. Sham and Butchie turned quickly, but Kuro was gone yet again. Only to appear behind them with his arms slung over their shoulders. It's true I don't feel too active. Kuro pointed his thumb claws so that they pricked the skin of their neck. It's also true that I'm not your captain. I'm just the client. A client who kills if the job isn't done right. This is the first time I've seen the Nyaban brothers get caught. The crew exclaimed. What are you hoping for? Django asked his crew. His creeping cat technique is a soundless moving technique. Even if he's facing 50 assassins, he can still kill them all silently. We can't escape his plan. Kuro increased the pricking to a slight stab, making the Nyaban brothers experience intense pain. But neither dared to say anything about it. It seems that my 3 years here have made me generous, Kuro told them. I'll give you 5 minutes to kill them all. If you can't settle this within 5 minutes, I'll kill you all. I don't want to die. The crew screamed in panic. 5 minutes, the Nyaban brothers mumbled as they were released from Kuro. I'm gonna fight you, Naruto declared to the shock of everyone there. Naruto, Usopp exclaimed, fearing what might happen to his blonde friend. Naruto, you're strong, but Nami thought down on the sand. Kuro gazed at Naruto, his unwavering eyes. You're just a kid, 14, 15 at most. Why do you want to throw your life away so easily? Kuro asked. I'm not, Naruto replied. Then why do you wish to fight me? Kuro asked again. Because I want to test myself. Naruto grinned evilly. Fine, Kuro stated, not afraid of what the young boy could do to him. That kid, Sham stated, amazed at the bravery he was showing. Come on Sham, we can't get distracted. Let's finish this guy, Butchie shouted. Right, we'll finish him in 5 seconds. Sham shouted. Zoro, Nami shouted, gaining attention, your katanas. She kicked his swords up to him. Stupid girl, don't kick my katanas, Zoro yelled. Aren't you gonna repay me? Nami smirked. Hey, thanks, Zoro smirked as he grabbed his swords. Shia, Sham shouted. Even with 3 swords you can't beat us. Butchie yelled. You don't know the difference, Zoro stated as he placed his katana in his mouth, between using 3 swords and Santoryu. Kill them. The crew cheered the guardsmen on. Tora, Zoro placed both his swords behind the one in his mouth, preparing for a downward slash. Shahahaha. The Nyaban brothers were close to killing Zoro. Gari, Zoro cut both of them easily, sending them flying. Everyone was watching in shock as the 2 strongest fighters in the Black Cat pirate crew were dispatched off easily. With only 1 slash. Ah, the crew screamed. Zoro pointed his sword towards Kuro. I'll kill you all within 5 minutes. Zoro stated, his bandana covering his eyes. Zoro, I'm fighting him. Naruto stated, looking right at Zoro. Right, Zoro sighed. Captain Django. Butchie spat out some blood. You were too nice. One of them is still alive. Kuro noted. Must have been the fat, Zoro thought. Help me, Butchie shouted. Within seconds, he was standing, his wounds healed and stronger than before. The hypnotism, Zoro exclaimed. This guy is annoying. He could crack the ground before. What can he do now? Zoro thought. I need to wake up Luffy. Nami thought as she ran to where Luffy slept. What did you think you're doing? Django shouted as he threw his pendulum at her. Everyone's fighting with wounds and you're sleeping. Nami shouted as she slammed her heel into Luffy's rubbery face. Wake up. Nami duck, Zoro warned. Nami turned and noticed the pendulum racing towards her head. Why did you step on my face? Luffy shouted as he stood up, the pendulum going into the back of his head. That kid's still alive, Django exclaimed. He woke up at the wrong time. Zoro stated. Didn't he die when he fell off the cliff? Kuro thought. Grr. Luffy stomped his foot down to make sure he didn't fall. He grabbed the pendulum from his head and pulled it out. Impossible, Django exclaimed. He's really something, Zoro stated. That hurts, Luffy shouted as he held the back of his head. He's been revived, the crew shouted in utter disbelief. That really hurts, Luffy shouted at Nami. Hey, don't blame it on me. Nami shouted back, she gripped her shoulder tightly. Is your shoulder all right? Luffy asked. Why yeah, we cannot lose this battle. Nami exclaimed. Shishishi, of course. Luffy grinned. Hey, even the evil butler is here. I'm fighting him, Luffy. Naruto made sure that he knew. Ah, Luffy whined. In 3 minutes all of you will be dead. Kuro shouted. 3 minutes. We're done for, even with Django and Butchie. There's no hope. The crew screamed. Butchie, we don't have any more time. Finish off the guy with the haramaki. I'll deal with the straw hat kid. Django ordered. Klahadore, stop it. They heard a voice shout from the top of the slope. It was Kaya. The sick girl, Naruto thought. Kaya, what are you doing? Usopp exclaimed, worried about her safety. Isn't that the Ajo-sama of the mansion? She's our target, Django noted. You surprised me, Ajo-sama. What are you doing here? Kuro asked, sliding his glasses up with the palm of his hand. Mary told me everything. Kaya told him. Really? He's still alive. I didn't show any mercy. Kuro sounded surprised. He isn't Klahadore. Kaya thought grimly. I'm sorry Usopp, but no matter what, I can't believe that Klahadore is a pirate. Kaya told Usopp. That doesn't matter. Why are you here? Run away. You're fighting pirates. Usopp warned. You're fighting though. Kaya responded. Even though we treated you so poorly you're fighting. We're different. Usopp yelled. Klahadore, if you want money, I'll give you everything. Just leave the town. Kaya reasoned. No, Kuro stated, it's not just money I'm after, it's peace of mind. During the 3 years here, I feel at peace. The villagers trust me as well. Only once I've obtained peace and money will the plan be completed. You leaving your will to me is essential. Kaya, don't bother negotiating. Just run. Usopp shouted. Kaya pulled out a pistol and pointed it at Kuro. So you've become stronger these years. Kuro noted. Leave this town now, Kaya ordered. Do you still remember? A lot of things have happened these past 3 years, Kuro recalled. Since your parents died we've done lots of things together. Taken boat rides together, taken trips into town. When you were sick I was there for you. We had great times and sad times. Why did you stop? Kaya questioned. I was suffering, Kuro replied, taking care of a whiny Ajosama. I suffered keeping the facade. But I patiently waited for this day, so I could kill you. Bastard, Usopp muttered. The great Captain Kuro, was subjected to taking care of a little girl. Deliberately making her like me. Do you understand how demeaning it is? Arg, Usopp shouted as he rushed at Kuro, who simply sidestepped him. Usopp, now that I think about it, I haven't repaid you for that punch, have I? Kuro smirked. You hit me really hard. Just before Kuro slashed Usopp, Naruto appeared in between them and punched Kuro in the same spot Usopp did. Kuro was sent flying into a nearby tree. Captain Kuro, he got knocked down. The crew shouted in shock. I will kill you, Naruto announced. Geez, I knew that kid was strong and fast. But knocking down Captain Kuro is ridiculous. Django thought to himself. Kuro was gazing at Naruto from the bottom of the tree he had crashed into. See, Captain's really angry. The crew screamed. Now's our chance. Voices yelled from the forest. The Usopp pirate crew, Ninjin shouted as he and the rest of the crew jumped from the trees carrying kitchen utensils. Die you bastard, Piemon shouted in anger. Evil butler, Tomonegi screamed. How did you? Usopp wondered. Leave, Kaya shouted. Hit him. The kids started smashing their instruments into the former pirate captain's face. What the hell are those kids doing? The crew shouted. The hell? Zoro questioned. Kids, Naruto said, his hair shadowing his eyes, scaring the kids sufficiently. Leave. No. We have to HH help. Piemon argued. Well, you can keep trying. Naruto smirked. The kids turned around to see Kuro standing, uninjured from their assault. Wah, they screamed. Bakas, run, Usopp demanded. Kuro started walking, but instead of attacking them, he walked right past them. What? They mumbled. He continued walking and kicked Usopp right in the gut, sending him down the slope. He kept walking until he was less than a meter away from Naruto. Your punch was much harder than it should be, Kuro said. I don't know how, but you're much stronger than I expected. Don't you dare hold back on me, Naruto warned threateningly. Django, Kuro shouted. Why yes, Django replied. I'll take care of this kid. You get a Josama to write the will, then kill her. Kuro commanded. And all the kids, they irritate me. Yes sir. Django started walking up the slope, only to be stopped by Zoro's outstretched arm with sword in hand. I won't let you get through, Zoro declared. Butchie, Django shouted. Cat the Fungita, Butchie exclaimed as he jumped in the air and slammed down where Zoro was just a second ago. Leveling the ground. Damn, he's stronger than before, Zoro exclaimed. The cliffside around him started crumbling due to his strength. Baka can't control his own strength, Kuro chided. Wow, so strong, Luffy exclaimed. Butchie slammed Zoro into the side of the cliff. Zoro was able to block his claws with his katana, and placed his foot on Butchie's face. I already beat you before. Back off. Zoro pushed Butchie away. This is too intense, I'm getting dizzy. I gotta get the kids out of here. Usopp thought. Usopp tried but it was too hard to get up. Usopp pirate crew. Usopp declared. We aren't leaving Captain. Heeman declared. Yeah, we're a crew. Tomonegi shouted. We can't leave. Ninjin told him. Protect Kaya. Usopp ordered to their surprise. I'm giving you the most important job. Take Kaya away from here safely. It's a captain's order you can't refuse. Why yes Captain. The kids shouted. Nice. He basically told them to run away. Zoro thought. I won't let you get away. Django stated as he pulled out another pendulum, now having one on each hand. Kaya run. Heeman took Kaya's hand and led her into the forest. We know the forest really well. Tomonegi told her. Don't worry, Ninjin stated. Where can you run to? Django asked as he spanned the pendulums on his fingers. Namariboshi. Usopp shouted as he flung a lead bullet into Django's back, sending him to the ground. Arg, bastard, he shouted. Serves you right. Usopp grinned. Django go get the girl. Kuro ordered. All right. Django replied as he ran off into the forest, following the kids. It's no use. I know how weak Kaya is, there's no way in hell that she can outrun Django, unless you can help her. But there's no way you can get out of this slope alive. Kuro told them. Damn, Usopp stated as he struggled to get up. Leave this to us, Naruto. Luffy and Zoro told him. Forest, is the hypnotist still after us? Tomonegi asked. No, I don't see him. Ninjin responded. They had been running through the forest for several minutes now and they had made good progress, but they had to make sure to slow down for Kaya. He must be dreaming if he think he can catch up to us in the forest. Heeman smirked. Don't worry Kaya, we'll protect you. Tomonegi assured her. That's right. In the name of the Usopp pirates we'll protect you. Heeman told her. Right, thank you. Kaya clutched her hand over her left, where her heart was. The pain of running was getting to her. Suddenly, the trees on their left were all cut down, leaving only the trunks. Wah! The kids screamed. They looked to see what had caused it, then they saw. It was Django's pendulums. Not here either, Django said to himself from his position. Kids. Get out here. I thought he was just a normal hypnotist. Ninjin shouted. If you won't come out I'll clear the whole forest. Django exclaimed. Sure. What was that noise? Usopp asked. That's probably Django losing his temper. As you can see you can't get out of this. Kuro answered. We'd better hurry, Zoro stated. Can you? Kuro asked. You have stayed with her for 3 years. Don't you care for her at all? Usopp shouted. No, as I've said before, Kaya is just a pawn in my plan, I don't care for her. Kuro replied. I can't let you hurt her. Usopp, using all of his strength, ran past Butchie. You can still move. Impressive, Kuro stated. Butchie. Butchie launched himself at Usopp, but before he reached him, Zoro put his sword around his neck and pulled him onto the ground. Don't get in the way, we're in a hurry, Zoro said as he looked down on Butchie. You've messed around enough, I won't kill you if you just lie down quietly. Just before Usopp continued moving, he fell to the ground, unable to move. Damn it, Usopp shouted. Ha 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 ha. You're a joke. Kuro laughed at him. It's probably safer for you there though, even if you did manage to catch up to Django you wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Even if I'm no match for him I must protect them. Usopp started crying. Arg. Butchie overpowered Zoro and threw him into the side of the cliff. I'm a brave pirate warrior. The captain of the Usopp pirates. Usopp declared. The pirates started laughing below them. If you laugh at Usopp, I will kill all of you. Luffy shouted, shutting them all up. Shia! Butchie screamed as he slammed his claws into Zoro's katanas. You baka! Zoro told him, I thought I already warned you, don't get in the way. Get out of the way. Zoro shouted and cut Butchie, leaving an X-shaped scar across his body. Ah, even the hypnotized Butchie wasn't enough. The crew shouted. Luffy, I'm gonna take Usopp and bring him to the kids, is that all right? Zoro asked. Yep, Luffy replied. What are you gonna be doing during the fight? Naruto asked. Watching. I trust Usopp and Zoro to protect Kaya, and plus I wanna watch this fight. Luffy grinned and sat at the top of the cliff. Sorry, Usopp wheezed out. I'd be faster without you, but we're going into the forest and I need you to guide me. Zoro explained. Who said you could get past me? Kuro asked as he appeared in front of them. I did, Naruto shouted as he threw a punch to Kuro's head. Kuro was able to dodge the blow though. Go Zoro. Usopp. While Naruto was following up on his punch, Kuro was able to knee him in the gut, sending him to the ground. This guy isn't like Morgan or Buggy. He'll take every opportunity he gets. Naruto thought. Naruto looked up at Kuro but saw that he had vanished. He heard him behind him and rolled forward in order to get out of the way of Kuro's cat claws. Naruto rolled onto his hands and pushed up, kicking Kuro in the jaw during the process. He sent the strategist into the air. Naruto grabbed him by the foot and threw him to the ground. He was going to continue with his assault but Kuro managed to disappear again. He's as fast as me, maybe even faster. Naruto thought. Gee, that kid dares to challenge, see Captain Kuro. The crew mumbled. Before we fight I have one question. Why are you, a stranger, fighting to protect this town? Kuro asked. My captain told me to, plus it's a good idea to improve myself. Naruto replied. What a simple reason. Are you okay with dying for that reason? Kuro asked. I'm not dying today. Naruto smirked. Forest. Django continued to cut down the trees in an attempt to find where the kids were. Where are they? Django wondered. The kids weren't that far away from where Django was. They had to stop because Kaya had suddenly collapsed. Kaya, they gasped. Kaya was on her knees leaning against a tree. Her body wasn't allowing her to keep going. Gee, go ahead boys. I'm alright, Kaya lied. Go ahead, we're here to protect you. Paimon refused to go. She looks really sick, Tomonegi noted. What? Hang on. Paimon told her. We gotta get her to a doctor. Ninjin told them. Baka, we're running for our lives. Paimon told them. But it's too dangerous to continue going on with Kaya. Tomonegi told them. Right, we as the Usopp pirate crew must make a decision. Paimon told them. Yeah, we'll fight him, Ninjin stated. There you are, Django said as he appeared from behind a tree. Wah, the kids screamed. Within seconds Django was able to successfully subdue the kids. They were on the ground battered and beaten. Stop, I'll write the will if you stop hurting the boys. Kaya told him. Baka, don't try and negotiate with me. Captain Kuro said that I have to kill all of you. Django said as he kicked Paimon again. Paimon. Kaya thought for a second and then picked up one of Django's discarded pendulums and pointed it to her neck. If you don't stop I'll kill myself. You won't get the will then. Hey, let's not go crazy here. If you do that I'll be in big trouble. I won't kill the kids. Django told her. Soon they were writing the will. Django was watching over the crying Ajo-sama as she wrote it out. Don't forget to mark it with your thumbprint. Here. Kaya gave him her will. I'm leaving all my inheritance to my butler, Klahadore. Django read off the will. Good, this will hold up, and I didn't even have to hypnotize you. He pulled out more pendulums and started swinging them on his fingers. Now I have to kill you. After all, without you dead, a will is just a piece of paper. You promised you wouldn't hurt the boys. Kaya reminded him. Don't worry, I'm a man who keeps his words. Django smirked. There they are. Usopp shouted on Zoro's back. He could see Django and Kaya in the distance. Over there, she's in danger. Wait here, Zoro told him as he dropped him on the ground, allowing him to be faster. Damn hypnotist. Django heard this and saw Zoro closing in on him. What, he caught up with me? Django exclaimed. I better finish this off. Just before he was able to cut her, the kids rushed at him. Don't even think about it. They screamed as they rammed their utensils into his ass. Damn brats. Django kicked them all away. It's too late, Haramaki. Really? Zoro smirked and cut down the branch in front of him. Good, that was blocking my way. Usopp stated. Usopp. Kaya exclaimed. Captain. The kids screamed happily. Usopp pulled back his slingshot. Eat this, hypnotist. Special technique Kyakuboshi. Usopp released his slingshot and out came a ball of gunpowder that exploded on Django's face, sending him to the ground, unconscious. Zoro smirked and took off his bandana and strapped it around his left bicep. Usopp struggled to walk over to the kids, but managed. He sat down on one of the many tree trunks that Django had cut down. "Good job, Captain." The crew cheered. "Thanks everyone for your strength and bravery. Can you guys keep everything that happened a secret?" Usopp asked. "A secret?" the crew exclaimed, "but we fought for the village. Everyone will change their opinions of you." "Usopp, we have to fix the misunderstanding," Kaya told him. "There's no misunderstanding. People would just say I'm a liar, plus there's no need for there to be any unnecessary fright. Besides, after today I don't think pirates would want to come to this town anymore. And the villagers will be able to continue living peacefully. So let's not tell anyone, it was all a lie," Usopp explained. "Usopp," Kaya mumbled. "I won't force it onto you, but," Usopp said. "Don't worry, we'll do it, it's for the good of the town," the kids exclaimed, happy to help the village. "Kaya, will it be hard for you?" Usopp asked. "No, I'm happy to help," she smiled. "Sure, die," Kuro exclaimed as he rushed at Naruto. Before he slashed at him, Naruto front flipped over the attacker and threw several kunai at him. Kuro simply vanished in a burst of speed and appeared behind him. "Gotta be more careful." Naruto smirked when he too disappeared and reappeared behind Kuro and punched him down the slope. "You're not the only one who can do that," Naruto grinned. Kuro got back on his feet, dusting himself off. "Impressive," Kuro stated and sped up to him, swiping at him. Naruto was able to bend backwards, only narrowly avoiding the attack, but not good enough. Kuro swiped down on Naruto's torso, creating 3 deep vertical scratches. "Arg!" Naruto cried out in pain as he rolled away from him, but Kuro didn't stop there. He followed up on his swipe by attempting to slash him, only to be blocked by Naruto's sandals, ruining them though. Before Kuro could attack again, Naruto jumped in the air in an attempt to avoid his attacks, but Kuro took control of the situation and swiped at Naruto, cutting and slashing him while also destroying his shirt. He fell to the ground, clothed in only his opera-length gloves and baggy black pants. "Damn, this guy's good. I gotta take control of the fight," Naruto thought. He launched himself at Kuro, but instead of attacking him, he made him look in his eyes, making him look at the red slit-eyed boy. Akuma no Yuru. While Kuro was incapacitated, Naruto slammed his fist into his gut several times and kicked his face into the ground and jumped into the air, Akuma Supapindorapukira. However, before he was able to land on Kuro, the former pirate captain was able to break himself out of the illusion and dodge the attack. Kuro then attempted to cut him from the back, but Naruto turned just in time to block it with his kunai. They jumped back away from each other and stood. "I wonder, how did you do that illusionary technique?" Kuro asked, "And Akuma no Mi perhaps? Wouldn't you like to know?" Naruto replied. "Smart boy, not giving away anything," Kuro stated. Before Naruto could respond, Kuro slammed his knee into his face, sending him to the bottom of the slope, just a few meters ahead of the pirates. "That kid was so strong and scary, but he's getting beaten easily by our captain." The crew cheered. "Captain Kuro, Captain Kuro, Captain Kuro." The crew cheered on. "Silence. Don't call me that name," he shouted. "You still don't understand. The purpose of this plan is to eliminate the name, Captain Kuro, forever. I'm sick and tired making useless plans for you morons. That's why I decided to kill myself 3 years ago. To eliminate my name. Don't you understand, kid? I've been planning for 3 years, my plan cannot fail." Kuro rushed at the blonde boy. "Baka." Naruto smirked as he grabbed a large boulder that had fallen from the cliffside during Butchie and Zoro's fight. Kuro thrust his cat claws straight into the boulder. "Seems like you can do more than run," Kuro stated. "Your plan had too many variables, like me." Naruto pulled the boulder away, snapping the right-handed cat claws in the process. "Wow, that kid," the crew exclaimed. "You said you're tired and wanted peace of mind, and that you wanted to eliminate your name. If you're afraid of your name being known," Naruto slammed the boulder across the back of Kuro's head, "then don't be a pirate." "See, Captain," the crew mumbled. "Captain Kuro, don't worry. You still have one of the cat claws," one of the crew members shouted. "Hey, don't call him that," another member scolded. "Wasn't he known as Klahadore?" a crew member thought. "Go Klaha," they cheered. "Shut up, the lot of you," Kuro ordered. "After this, you'll all die." Django's no exception. What? The crew exclaimed. You don't have to worry about the plan. As long as your corpses are here I can blame it on you. Kuro told them, I never intended for any of you to leave this town. It would be a disadvantage to me if anyone who knew my plan lived. From the very beginning, they shouted, you guys are dumb, loser pirates. Luffy commented from the cliffside. Losers. A pirate crew is just a bunch of misfits gathered together. Without me and my planning they would be nothing. You should continue following my plans. Kuro shouted, in a pirate crew, the crew members are just pawns to the captain's bidding. That means your life and death are in my hands. No matter what you have to obey my orders. That's the way of the pirate. A wandering brat wouldn't know that. Kuro yelled. I can beat you. Naruto stated simply. Ha ha ha. Don't think that just because you've destroyed one of my cat claws I'm done. Kuro disappeared and appeared behind him. You can't win. Naruto smirked and roundhouse kicked Kuro into the wall of the cliffside. The kid's able to see through his creeping cat technique. The crew noted. You've insulted me. Kuro got out of the rubble. I'll show you what a true pirate is. He got up and started swaying. I'll show you the terror of a true pirate. That stance. The crew shouted. Why? Against one person. They yelled. It's the Shikushi. They screamed in terror. We aren't safe here. They shouted. He's gonna kill us. It was his true intention from the beginning. They screamed. CC Captain, we won't tell anyone. No one. Please let us go. They pleaded. Please Captain. They continued pleaded. Please don't use that technique. They shouted. Anything but it. They looked pathetic, begging for their former captain to not kill them. It doesn't look like much, but for them to be that scared, Naruto thought, not one to underestimate his opponent. Shikushi. Kuro exclaimed, vanishing at speeds that not even Naruto could follow. There was a long period of silence and then, arg, the crew started screaming in pain as they were cut down one by one. What's going on? Naruto exclaimed. It wasn't just the crew that were being cut down, the rocks and cliffside around them were getting cut, and even his ship was getting cut. Captain Kuro, please stop. A crew member pleaded in vain as he was cut down shortly after. It's no use. He's going so fast he can't even see who he's cutting. That crew member was killed as well. Nami had gotten the treasure from the ship and was watching in fear at what was going on below her. What's going on? Everyone's getting massacred, she thought. Ah, please stop. They continued pleading. Try to run or avoid if you can. One by one, they kept dying. What the hell do you think your crew members are? Naruto shouted. Naruto. Nami stated. Come on Naruto, beat this evil butler. Luffy yelled. It wasn't short after this that Naruto was cut as well. There were now 5 horizontal lines going across his face, blood squirting out of them. Naruto. Nami and Luffy shouted in worry. Hey, you've shown yourself. Naruto grabbed Kuro before he could run away again and threw him to the ground. You didn't hit my eyes, thanks to that I can still see. Bastard, you should have let me chop you up peacefully. Because of you I stopped killing my crew, leaving them half dead and in pain. Kuro told him. The crew was in below them, got something to say. I'll never be a pirate like you. Naruto told him. You could never be a pirate like me. Kuro smirked. You will die here. He started swaying again. I better use it, Naruto thought as he held out his right arm with his left hand holding onto it. It was now Luffy's turn to get excited. Has he finally perfected it? Luffy thought excitedly as he grinned madly. You say that you've been planning for 3 years. Naruto grinned as a sphere of energy started growing and spinning in his palm. Well, I've been working on this technique for 3 years as well, perfecting it. Naruto held out his palm and revealed the spinning blue sphere of energy that was roughly the size of a fist picking up dust and around him. Like I said before, you can't beat me. What is that? Nami questioned. Shikushi. Kuro exclaimed as he disappeared in a burst of speed, but he couldn't get very far as Naruto thrust the spinning orb of energy into his gut. Rasengan. Naruto shouted. The technique that he had been working on for 3 years worked amazingly. It sent Kuro not up the slope, but through the slope, creating a tunnel of 5 meters. Kuro was out cold. Wow, Nami exclaimed. That was amazing. Luffy cheered. That kid, the crew murmured in disbelief. He killed Captain Kuro. They cheered. Yeah, they continued. Go kid, you're amazing. They continued cheering until Naruto sent them a glare. I don't need your thanks. He told them. WW, who the hell are you? Not even a marine ship could defeat 100 plans Kuro. The crew shouted. Uzumaki Naruto. I told him. He could never beat me. Naruto announced. Nah, Naruto. I've never heard of him. The crew discussed. You better remember that name. It'll be famous soon. Naruto told them all. Now take him back. He threw Kuro down to the pirates and never come back. The pirates screamed and ran back to their ship and attempted to set sail, even without the bow of the ship. Naruto started swaying like Kuro and then nearly fell to the ground, only to be caught by Luffy. Good job, Naruto. Luffy grinned and set him down on the ground. Yeah, Nami added when she came down to them, I guess even you need to rest after a battle like that. Yeah, I guess, Naruto sighed. That new attack, it took a lot of energy out of you, didn't it? Luffy asked. Yep, but after using it for a while I should get used to it. Naruto replied. I want some meat, Luffy stated out of the blue. Baka. Nami and Naruto sighed. You guys took care of him? Zoro asked from the top of the slope with Usopp. Yeah, Naruto took care of him. Luffy replied. Zoro walked over and sat against the cliffside. Thank you all. Without you this town would have been overrun. Usopp shouted. Of course, without us you couldn't do anything. Naruto joked at Usopp's expense. Cafe. Few got it out, Luffy exclaimed as he pulled out a piece of bone from his throat. They were celebrating their victory over the Black Cat pirates. Nami had insisted that they put bandages on Naruto, but he said that they would heal by themselves. Which they were already doing. Baka, we aren't meant to eat fish bones. Zoro told him. Well, we've eaten, we might as well get going. Nami said as they got up and paid the bartender. Just before they exited the bar, Kaya walked in. Hey Ajo-sama, Luffy greeted. Don't you need to stay in bed? Nami asked. No, I've been weak due to my parents' death, but Usopp encouraged me. That's why I'm not so weak now. Anyway, I heard you guys need a ship. Kaya told them. A ship? Luffy beamed with excitement. Sure. In front of the Straw Hat Pirates was a caravel. It had a lamb-shaped figurehead and 4 cannons, 1 in the stern, 1 in the bow and 2 pointing to either side. It had 1 small back mast and a big mast in the center. Wow, Luffy exclaimed. Hey, Zoro stated. A caravel, Nami exclaimed. Nice. Naruto smirked, the wounds on his face practically gone. I've been waiting for you. She's slightly old-fashioned, but I designed her myself. She's a caravel and uses a staysail. The controls are in the back. She's called the Going Merry. Mary explained. We can really take this. Luffy yelled in happiness. Yes, I insist. Kaya smiled. I'll explain the steering system. Mary started talking to Luffy, in order to adjust the yards in relation to the crew garnet. Explain it to me, Nami interrupted, seeing that Luffy had no idea what he was talking about. This is a cool ship. Luffy shouted. I had everything you could need loaded onto the ship. Kaya assured them. Wah, stop me, a voice shouted from the top of the slope. The crew looked to see whom it was Usopp. Usopp, Kaya exclaimed. What's he doing? Luffy asked. We better stop him. If he keeps going he'll hit the ship. Zoro told his captain. They both held their legs out and kept Usopp from going any further. Gee, thank you. Usopp thanked. No problem. Luffy replied. So you're going out to sea as well, are you, Usopp? Kaya asked. Yeah, I have to go before I change my mind, please don't stop me. Usopp told her. I won't. I figured you would leave as well. I am sad though, Kaya said to them. Don't worry, when I come back to this village I'll tell you stories that are more unbelievable than my lies. Usopp grinned. Thank you, I look forward to it. Kaya smiled gracefully. Well, safe voyage, hope to see you again sometime. Usopp farewelled the Straw Hats. Why? Luffy asked. We're both gonna be pirates, so we might meet again on the high seas. Usopp explained. What are you talking about? Hurry up and get on board. Zoro told him. What? Usopp asked. You're already our Nakama, aren't you? Luffy said. Usopp looked at them in shock, then that shock turned to happiness. I'm the captain, right? Usopp yelled. No way, I'm the captain. Luffy shouted back. Usopp entered the crew and soon they set sail. To a new ship and a new nakama. They cheered as they drank rum together in honor of their new friend. The end. Now we will see you in the next video.